Good morning and welcome all. Welcome to the Road to the NHC, the weekly show that's your ticket to the 2025 National Horse Players Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada. Each week, we're going to dive into the world of online tournament play, showing you how to navigate through feeders as well as qualifiers. My partner to the Road to the NHC is none other than 2022 NHC champ, David Harrison. David, always good to be here with you, and I love doing what we do here with the Road to the NHC. We've had, I don't know, 6 or 7 people qualify for Vegas in 2025, which is just around the corner.
Yeah, Scotty, actually just watching your opening here, it brought a smile to my face looking at that ballroom, thinking it's less than 3 months away. And it's funny, if everybody's familiar with Rachel McLaughlin on an interview show, I think with you guys, with the stretch run, I wasn't on the show, and she says, "Oh yeah, I know David's coming on, and he's a great guy. He's always smiling every time I see him. He's very chatty to everybody. He's a great." I'm like, well, how could I not be smiling at the NHC when I'm walking around? My wife thinks I'm playing an act, but you've got to be smiling because you get a expenses paid trip to Vegas, 4 nights hotel, and you play for a shitload of money with mythical money. I mean, technically, you don't have to bring $1 with you, to gamble with because it's all there. So how could I not be smiling, Scotty? So I'm looking forward to it, and it's just around the corner. So the NHC tour ends on February 23rd.
Correct.
So basically, less than 2 months to qualify.
Where are you sitting right now on the leaderboard?
I am actually before. They just released yesterday as of the 19th in Los Al. There was a contest, I guess, on Sunday in Los Al, and it hasn't been updated. But right now I'm in 10th on the leaderboard.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to hold on into that money spot between the 1st and 20th. For 20th, you get $5,000 between 15th and 20th. So I'm trying to inch up the board. Right now, I think if it's ended today, the payoff is 12.5, and that's decent. That pays
really good money.
It gives me an ROI on my contest play this year at 12.5, but at 5 it's probably a break-even point. But so I got to try to get some points. And you're 22nd, I believe. So you the little urge there, you can pick up an extra $5K and before you get to Vegas.
I was playing in a lot of tournaments earlier, and for many reasons, I just pretty much stopped playing. I was finishing in the top 10%, but as you know, there's some particular rules in which they do things, and so it requires you when you start off as hot as I did, then it requires you to finish even better in order to get points. And I felt like I was chasing a little bit, and I'm like, it's just not worth chasing. So if it came natural and I felt like I wanted to go ahead and play, then I would do that. Now most people are going to have to deal with that. So it's worth doing it. And I am going to play 1 entry today in the qualifier. So I already bought my entry. Now, first we're going to do is we're going to cover the feeder. Now, what the feeder is, it's $18. We're going to be handicapping races 1 through 3 at Tampa, and then 1 through 3 at Gulfstream Park. And it's $18 to do that. You have to be a member. Go to the NHC or NTRA.com, and I don't know, it's like $25 to sign up. And then after February, I think what you said, mid-February, David?
The tour ends February. Last day is February 23rd, which is a Sunday.
Okay, so after that time, then you re-sign up, and it's $50 to sign up. And then if you do end up qualifying, it's great. Now, if you qualify in the top, I think we figured out it was 15% of the people in the feeder will qualify for the qualifier. Is that true?
Yeah. What's 1 out of every 5?
All right. So 1 out of every 5 would be 20%.
Right.
All right.
20%.
So 20% of the people. So for $18, you have a very good chance of getting into the qualifier, which is $75. You won't have to pay for that. And then if you finish in the top 2 or 3, depending on how many entries are in there, then bam, all of a sudden you're in Vegas with a free room for 4 days with I think they give you $500 for a flight, right?
$500 travel credit, yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you and I are ready to go with 2 entries apiece. I'm super excited. A lot of the people that we follow and know and love also have 2 entries. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know, and we've talked about this numerous times, but it's something we put on our calendar. I can't wait for.
Absolutely. And let me just add, besides that, I mean, if you're looking, you're on the edge here. Like, should I play? Should I try to qualify? I'll give you a little more incentive. Thursday night is a welcome cocktail hour, free booze, free appetizers, and they had it in upstairs somewhere last year where you had great views, and it was a warm night. You can almost go out there on. I guess you can't go outside because you could jump off that 9th floor. But so you have the welcoming cocktail hour. Yeah. That always goes well. And then you've got breakfast every morning and lunch.
And lunch every afternoon.
In all honesty, I don't even have to eat dinner. I know guys want to go out to dinner. I'm like, I'm stuffed. I mean, I grab a slice of pizza and with my EquinEdge, my laptop, and I sit down in Savero's eating pizza and handicap for 3 hours. So, and then Sunday night, you got the awards dinner. And again, same thing. You got a cocktail hour, free booze, free food, and the food was always good at these.
It's very good.
So yeah, I mean, you could just go say, hey, a lot of people look at it getting to the NHC as the reward for qualifying. And that's fine. I mean, if you just want to go have a good time, drink your ass off, eat your ass off, party on the strip, and not take the NHC seriously, that's fine. I know guys who do that. But, to me, there's too much money on the line. I try to balance it a little bit. But look at it this way. If you end up taking the pipe on Saturday and don't make the cut, you can party your ass off Saturday. But don't forget, you got the consolation contest coming up on Sunday. So
and also, by the way, on Dave Weaver won that consolation as well.
Yeah,
I want to say 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then also Justin, they have a last chance. So if you don't qualify and you want to try, you go to Vegas, and then on Thursday you have the last chance tournament. And Justin qualified for the NHC because of that tournament.
And I forgot to add that. Yes, you can go without being qualified. You obviously have to pay your plane fare and your hotel, but you can qualify there. You can, 5 entries you can get into the first chance list, or 3? I think it's 5.
No, I think it's 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to get aggressive and you have the bankroll and the discretionary income, go for it. I mean, I am in on the first chance, last chance because of the second entry you get. I opted to get a free entry into that. So I'm like, oh, what the hell? I felt a little challenging, to be honest with you, Scotty, doing the Thursday and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days in a row. I start getting burnt out. So, but I have a plan. I'm not going to disclose my plan for Thursday.
Why do you want to tease us like that?
Well, I would qualify for next year, so it's no pressure at all. Okay. So, I'll tell you my plan. If the weather is at least 70 degrees, which is questionable in March, I may put my plays in advance, watch a couple races, go up to my room, get into my bathing trunks, into my Speedo, and go out to the pool and hang out.
Let me just stop you right now.
Yes.
There is no way in hell, I don't care if it's 75, 80 degrees, that you're not going to be in that tournament room. I know you wouldn't be able to stand it. You'd be out there in that pool laying like this, just jonesing, going, I got to get my ass back in that room. Yeah, good. That's a good try. But
look at it this way. Yeah, if I'm doing well, my ass is in that room in about a half hour, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm on the leaderboard.
By the way, good point on the coffee, right? I'm a big coffee drinker, and I've been to Spain a few times. Honest from Spain, we've been there, 3 or 4 times in the last few years. And when you've had coffee there, David, you're good luck finding a good cup of coffee in Vegas. Any coffee, I guess, early in the morning is almost pretty good. I can't remember. I don't think the coffee's all that bad over at the Horseshoe, but
they have Lavazza. Yeah. Lavazza's not bad. It's pretty strong, but they have free coffee in the ballroom, and it's kind of weak. But hey, listen, when you're 4 days in Vegas and you have to wake up and you're an East Coast guy and you have to get used to that time, that I walk down there before it even opens. It's 7 a.m.
It doesn't even matter. The very first thing you think of, right? I'm in Florida, but even when on the West Coast, is the very first thing I think about is I get up in that morning. and it's peaceful and it's quiet. And really the machines aren't going crazy. And you go down
Right.
and you go get that coffee and you just open up your computer or your whatever you're using. And you just, man, it's the best feeling.
Yeah, it is. But I will add this caveat. I have to have a little coffee to get me going in the morning. But I have to tell you, and I haven't disclosed this, so this is kind of the year that I won the NHC 2022. I have to admit, Saturday night I wasn't sleeping very well. I knew I was in a position to, make the final table if I just played my cards. Things fell into place for me. I was so jacked up, Scotty, that I decided to go to the bar in the main ballroom. The bar that by the checkout area.
You know it well.
And it's open 24 hours. So I was talking to the bartender. He was talking me down. And he said, "You want a coffee?" I said, "Well, I'm in like 12th place." And he said, "What's the purse? What's the top prize?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's only 7 1/4." He says, 725,000. He says, "Son of a bitch." He says, "You should have I got to buy you a drink." And I'm like, I never usually drink at 6 a.m. in the morning. But I am going to have one with.
Wait, you did? I didn't know this is the first time I'm hearing this story.
I had one drink that morning, and it did relax me. And I won't say if I had a second one, but I will tell you, I walked into that ballroom just nice and relaxed and saying, I'm going to have fun. And whatever the cards, I have a chance here, I'm going to have fun. So coffee with a little bit of Tanqueray and tonic did the trick that morning. So that's in my biography. One thing I haven't disclosed yet. So people don't know me as a drinker. I'm not really a boozer anymore. So I very rarely drink, but I would advise that if you're hitting the final table, maybe you take a cocktail with you just to calm your nerves down a little bit.
Actually, it makes total sense to me as long as you have are there upper drinks? Like what are the types of drinks that are uppers that aren't downers? Because some of them will make you fall asleep. I think wine makes you fall asleep, doesn't it? I don't think you want to have wine.
But I think you want to be relaxed. You want
to be relaxed, but you don't want to get to the point where you're falling asleep either. Like you want to have a good energy. Like,
exactly.
I'll give you an example of this.
You want to have a relaxed energy.
You do, but I'll tell you what happened. So I was in Vegas. This is probably about 7 years ago, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and we had a bunch of people, and I was the one that was the host, entertaining everybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, I could not keep my eyes open. I'm yawning and all that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so damn rude. And I couldn't help it. So I went in and I took, the first time in my life, a 24-hour energy drink.
Gosh.
I was the life of the party till 6:30 in the morning. It wasn't a high. There was no downs. It was perfect. So I'm like, okay, I got the magic formula. The very next night I did the exact same thing. And I went like this and bam, like you can't do the same thing over and over again. Eventually your body gets used to it. It doesn't work.
Right. Well, I will tell you this. If you're in contention on Saturday, and you make the cut and you're in contention and make that final table, you get adrenaline. You don't have to worry about being up,
That's true.
And you just need something to relax you, like just to take the edge off. But everybody's a little different, right? I decided that, I was a smile on my face. I'm like, I'm going to the final table to have fun. I'm going to play.
You know what I honestly believe is the number one thing you can do? Like if you get in that position, or even before you're in that position and you get there, or whatever you're doing, going into a meeting, whatever, and it's hard to do, I know, but is literally go for a run. Like it doesn't have to be far. You go for a run and it just builds those serotonins in your brain that helps you think more, because us horse players get brain fog all the time. We're looking at numbers and that stuff gets rough sometimes. And you just go over and you go for a run. Now, again, I don't always do this, but if you do it, it's obviously natural serotonin. So you're not filling yourself with necessarily coffee, which I love, or 24-hour energy drinks. You're getting a natural serotonin, which helps with the brain fog.
Right. And that's perfect advice because it works for me. Every morning you'll see me on the strip in the morning, jogging. I'm with my headphones on, listen to my inspirational music, positive music, upbeat energy. And I just focus. Yeah. And if it's a bad weather day, you'll see me in that ballroom before maybe between 6 and 7 a.m. with a little coffee, water, and I'll be walking around, speed walking, jogging. And, there's a huge ballroom, so I can get about a mile of exercise. And people think I'm a wacko. Like, who's that guy running around the ballroom or jogging, speed walking? But it gets me focused. So
Yeah,
so
you
if
get
anyone
a
wants
little
to
bit
walk with me on Friday and Saturday morning, just hit me up and we'll go for a group workout.
Well, two things on that note. Water for sure is something, and I don't always do that, unfortunately. And it's one of my vices is Diet Coke, unfortunately. And the truth is, if I would drink more water in those situations, that's another thing that would help with the serotonin and hydrate you, which is super important, especially in Vegas, where you can get super dehydrated and you really need to keep those fluids going in your body. I mean, that's just an absolute fact. And second of all, what's the playlist?
Oh, I'm more of a 70s, 80s pop and rock guy, and also a little grunge here or there. And I will tell you, the one year I just got into a Red Hot Chili Peppers, just a whole classic 2-album play, and they were playing it at the pool. And like, okay, I didn't realize I loved the Chili Peppers so much. They just great party music.
You know, I don't remember which song it was by them, but and maybe one of you knows, and maybe look it up for us. But they have a very famous song that they did that supposedly like spoke to the future, and it's already happened. What they prophesized in those lyrics, like literally 20 years ago. If you look that story up, it's crazy. I don't remember specifically what it was. I do know it was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's a crazy story. Like in those lyrics, it actually came true like 20, 25 years later.
That's unbelievable. I have to look it up.
You have to look that up. But Hi, Henry. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris. Hey, I saw Matt was there. Hey, Matt. Thanks for the advice. I figured
Dave's in the
advice
house.
about Starbucks and coffee. Matt Miller is the guy.
Yeah, I love the EquinEdge community. It is growing. Excellent. I mentioned it last night with Justin and I, but we've had now with yesterday in 2 weeks' time, almost close to 100 new customers, new people that added to the community. And some of those are free because you can get 3 free races daily. If you can't afford it and you just want to try it out and learn, you can get those 3 free races. So you can go to equinedge.com and get that. But it's just great to see the community growing. But listen, we only have like 35 minutes before Gulfstream Park race number 1. So you ready to get at it?
I thought we're changing the format today. We're just going to talk. It's going to be a live talk show, and we're going to say, hey, you ever been on a flight? When's the last time you flew to Vegas? Remember that flight? I'm going to tell you a couple stories. We could probably go for a couple hours with that stuff. So let's get to the horses.
You and I could always talk, though. I mean, if it's not one of us, the other one is definitely chatting up a storm. I'm like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I get super quiet sometimes into myself. I consider myself a bit of a loner. And then if you get me at the right time, I won't shut up. I just get really chatty.
That's that 24-hour energy drink that you
no, definitely not that. What's up, Al? Mike Stiletta. Speaking of the EquinEdge community, these are two of the best right here. Okay. One more shout out to if you're just learning EquinEdge, I can't stress enough. We have 4 coaching classes per week, and you learn so much in those coaching classes. We do one on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. God, I think Alfredo does one as well in Spanish. So if you're Spanish speaking and you want to do that, just go look. It's free to do so. You can go every day if you want to. I do Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Justin does Wednesdays, and Chris Walsh does on Fridays. So, and then Dave giving his selections, one of the best handicappers there is. So you might want to check that out. Oh, well, my God.
Maybe we can just have talk about other things, and we can just go with Dave's picks today. So
no, that's never a bad thing. But I have to show you this. I didn't see this till yesterday, and I don't know if you've seen it, but we have a new person added to our community, and his name is Jake, and I cannot tell you how freaking good he is, and also the EquinEdge picks are crushing at Turfway Park. Like, I got to show this to you, and then we'll move on. We'll speed handicap the feeder. Look at this. This horse paid $26, and check out Jake's notes. Danner draws in off the also eligible. How many times do you miss also eligible horses, by the way, David?
All the time, and it's because sometimes they're on the other page, and people don't look. They don't realize they're drawing. Absolutely.
So he says, and hot jockey Irving Moncada takes the mount from the outside post. This one will have to get in good position, but I like it. Hunch play to start the card. The horse pays $26. This isn't a fluke, by the way. He's been doing this so far the entire meet.
Yes, absolutely.
But this is where it gets really good too. Yeah, he's just been on fire, Mike. Look at this. Top EquinEdge pick pays $17. This horse was 43% to win and 3-1 on the EE morning line, and ends up getting off at 7-1.
Right, and you'll find that in certain races that if you have a large field, especially in a lot of cases, it'll be because the AEs draw in and they get lost. You'll get sometimes horses get lost on the board, and you're like, how is this horse possibly that price? And then that's when I normally send it in. When you think a horse should be much lower as a total overlay, that's the time that I send it in.
I know you do.
Yep.
Race number 3. Look at this. The EquinEdge second pick pays almost $29. The EquinEdge top pick came in second. And that paid $67 for $2. Look at this. Top EquinEdge pick wins the next race. This horse was 57% to win, 6-5 EE morning line, and it was the top pace. How about this one? The EquinEdge long shot wins and pays $40.66 in race number 5. Race number 6, the EquinEdge top pick wins, and it was the top pace number, by the way, by far. It paid $20 over the EquinEdge long shot. That exacta paid a paltry $131.
Not bad.
In race number 7, the EquinEdge second pick won over the EquinEdge long shot. That exacta paid $40 for $2. I mean, nothing here in race number 3. The 3-horse won, and we had it at 3%, so nothing there. And then to finish off in race number 9, the EquinEdge long shot won again, paid $12.82. You and I both know at Turfway Park, which is the hardest track we have ever handicapped, or anybody has ever handicapped, that's unbelievable.
It is, because the results there are sometimes they're head scratchers to me, because sometimes you'll get a lot of horses there. You'll see first time synthetic, and you'll say, "Hey, this horse has never run on synthetic," and then boom, the $40 horse. And that's when to take a chance, against, I'm a big first time turf guy, right? If a horse is bred for turf, never run on turf, I don't care how bad the horse's running line is on dirt, it's a totally different surface. And against horses that are in and outers and there's no, world beaters, I'm always looking for that. So first time synthetic, why not? And that's been working at Turfway. I haven't played a lot, but I've been watching them, and maybe I'll get with Aqueduct on hiatus for the holidays. I may delve into it a little more this weekend.
And by the way, speaking of turf, the GSR has been upgraded. We have a much better GSR. We judge the GSR in 2 ways, David. We judge it based on the top GSR winning, and we judge it based on the average payout. And what that tells us is if we can get a higher payout, that means that it's finding longer price horses that we don't normally see. We lowered the win percentage by about a point, and that might sound negative, but we've increased by 75 cents on the ROI,
which is that's a solid number. 75
So super excited about that being released here, maybe even by the end of next week. And that's going to make a big difference to all of us to find some price horses in the GSR, which is what that thing should be doing anyways. We don't need a cheaper model of the win percentage algorithm, right? That's the decision that we made. Also, lastly, you can now get the horse analysis from you, me, Jake, Justin, Dan, and Oldie on mobile. So it's now on mobile.
Oh, it's on mobile. Fantastic.
It's on mobile.
Because I do, for those that aren't familiar with the notes, I do the NYRA circuit. So Aqueduct this weekend is on hiatus. So just watch for starting the 27th. You'll see my notes in there. And actually this past weekend we had actually Friday through Sunday had a couple of nice winners that had good notes on. And so that's something to watch for.
Okay, now I'm curious. So Matt said he hit the early pick 5. Let's see what this bad boy paid. Pick 5. Whoa, no joke. On a $121 ticket, you won $26,000. Is that right? Am I reading that right? You hit the early pick 5 at Turfway because of EquinEdge. Wow.
And that's for 50 cents.
Yeah. $121.50. Wow.
That is unbelievable.
What a great way. Congratulations, Matt.
That is a great.
So happy for you.
Yes. That comes in handy this time of year. Good Christmas money for you.
Yeah,
so, I'll be looking for my gift in the mail. Thanks to EquinEdge. And Scotty will be looking for his gift, but good. Congrats. Wow. That's a fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. All I want is Macallan. I'll just take a nice Scotch bourbon. I'm happy. Pat, good morning, Patrick. Wow, that's a really great way to start. Look at the EquinEdge community. Like they love it. Like there's no jealousy here. It's like, okay, now it's my turn. But I will say this, David, and we've talked about this before. You can't be on the fence. You have to be convicted. You play it, you lose. That's okay. But if you go away from the grain, meaning don't just automatically single favorites, get away from what everyone else is doing. And even though you might lose 9 times in a row, when you do hit that 10th time, you made 10 times more money total combined than anything you lost.
Right. You've got to have conviction in this game. And the one thing I don't like sometimes when I hear public handicappers, they're a little too wishy-washy for my taste. Oh, I like the 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm like, okay, who do you want on top? Who is your best bet? And again, don't get me wrong. There are some races to me that are head scratchers. They're inscrutable, impossible races. And that I won't give a solid conviction on because I think it's impossible to predict the outcome of some of these races. But if you do have a live long shot, I'm like, that's it. This horse, the horse, because of this XYZ. I don't care. He's finished 8th in his last 2 starts. This is my angle, and I'm going with it. So, and that's what I'm looking for in a handicapper. So, and sometimes you wind up, looking like a genius. In other cases, you wind up looking, with egg on your face. But that's right. That's okay.
Better than playing $121 ticket and getting back $260.
Correct. Absolutely. But again, you still, even if you got back 260, it's still a positive ROI.
No, but the point is,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
That's true though, but you're never going to hit the big scores. You're just not going to hit the big scores.
No, and I'll just tell you this quick story, and then we got to get rolling. A friend of mine who I used to go to track with all the time, I worked with in Saratoga Springs. He used to look at me and say, "How do you hit these pick 4s? These, $5,000 or $6,000 pick 4s and pick 5?" He says, "Every time I hit, it's like $300." I'm like, "Well, let's look at your ticket that you played today. Chalk, second choice, chalk. You're never gonna hit a major ticket. You're gonna hit always $200 or $300.
That's right.
It's a matter of." He's like, "I wouldn't use that 30-to-1 shot. It's got no chance." I'm like, "Well, it had no chance, but it won. It won because there was chaos." There was a couple of horses got a bad trip. Yeah, we got lucky. But if you want to, get a big score, it's risk reward, right? So
that's right. But you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is you have to be very super aware of your feelings, meaning you're fearing. When you play out of fear of losing, when you play a ticket, then you automatically know that whatever that ticket amount you played, if you're fearing, if you can just get past that, let's just say you play $120 pick 5, Dave. Mm-hmm. If your stomach is in knots because you played $120 in that pick 5, then you need to back that down and play a $20 one where you don't have that fear and you don't care if you lose. That's the mindset you have to have, and you have to figure out what that figure is for you. And Sylvain, I don't know why you want to get Dave in a bad mood. I mean, but I love that you're busting his chops personally.
Yeah, it's a little depressing. I don't know what is going on with that team. It seems to be a mental issue, dissension, lack of effort, lack of motivation. And I think they need an assistant coach that's a former NHC champ to give him some incentive. And, I think I'm a people person and I can motivate people. So, but they haven't offered me a position there yet. Chris Jury hasn't reached out to me to be their motivational speaker every morning. And I'll have the Rangers running around doing laps outside the practice arena in Rye, all listening to music, and then I'll go on a run. But yeah. Well, hopefully we can get it back together. Hopefully,
I went to a Montreal game one time. I was there. I was in Canada, and I went. And let me tell you something. to get season tickets there, I believe it's sold out for like 30 years. Like people do not sell their season tickets there. It is, the energy is like no other place I've ever been. And as far as hockey goes, it's insane.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Okay. We've had 17 minutes. Are you ready for this speed handicapping?
Sure. Actually, I am really prepared today. I put my picks in on horseplayers.com already. So if you just want to grab out the picks, and I'm ready to go. So let's go. Tampa Bay 1 is the first one. Oh, you got Gulfstream up there, Scott.
I've got Gulfstream up. Let's do that because Gulfstream is coming up before Tampa, so we might as well finish. We'll do Gulfstream. We'll do Gulfstream races 1 through 3, and then 1 through 3 at Tampa.
Well, again, Scotty, it's not in the contest. It's
what is
Gulfstream 2 through 4.
Oh, it's Gulfstream 2 through 4.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, well, let me just tell you that. Well, that's good. Then we have actually more time, 36 minutes. But let me tell you, I want, just so we're on this race number 1 at Gulfstream, and we'll watch this race. So this is one of the most wide open races I've ever seen. But it's interesting, and I put a note on this horse. But David Egan, excuse me, for Wesley Ward on a horse that's GSR drops from 60 to 36 and draws the 11 post. And look at the starting position at 7.5 furlongs. This horse is 9 to 5 right now. What is happening?
Well, 9 to 5.
Can somebody tell me what's going on? Like, if this horse wins, I quit. Like, okay, it's dropping 10 points in SOR. I get it. It's training pretty good. The workout isn't bad. But the GSR drops from 60 to 36, one of the biggest drops I've seen. This horse doesn't want turf. I mean, that matters. 11 posts from there. And the rail is out 66 feet on top of it. She's got to prove it to me, just so you know. So,
well, I think it's Wesley Ward money, Scotty, in my humble opinion. Yeah, I don't think she's any better for turf than dirt. But first time turf, Wesley Ward, and did have a good workout on December 6th at Palm Meadows, right? So a bullet workout. But yeah, overbet, and you'll see Wesley Ward horses do get overbet sprinting on the turf, especially the 2-year-olds, and that's, we got a 2-year-old filly here. Yeah, overbet. I agree.
Well, and I saw that too, Chris, by the way. But that all being said, the horse is in for $25,000. It does draw wide. And here's the only thing that confused me a little bit. When you run the race simulator, it's got the 11 and the 6 horse winning the race, both of whose GSRs are dropping tremendously. The one area where the GSRs are the most accurate is 2 turns on the turf. So, right. You know what I mean? So, but in light of the conversation we were having with taking risks, I think taking a risk on beating especially the 11 horse is huge, because then you can get some prices. I put a note on the 9 as well. She has the tools to step forward, as you can see my notes, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Crinkton's got this horse running better. Anyways, check out my notes. I've got notes in the first 4 races. After the show, in fact, I won't be able to add more notes. I was having some issues with my system yesterday, but the 12, I agree, Dave. Princess Claudia has got a big look here. So, I don't love the post, don't get me wrong, but I agree. And then the EquinEdge long shot. This horse is 24%. It's going from a 38 GSR to a 52. Now, let me tell you what happens in this. If you don't know about this, I'm sure you do, Dave. But what happens is you got these 2-year-olds, and they don't get a chance to run on turf going 2 turns. They don't write these races. Right. And so now it's the end of the year. And so now all these horses are having to run, the ones that want turf, the ones that want 2 turns. They've been running in areas there that they don't want to run in. Exactly. And so all of a sudden now you have so many of these horses that have an opportunity to run where they wanted to run all along, and you're going to get prices on these horses. So if you understand how the condition book works and how they write these things, if you understand more of that, and the only reason I know any of that is because I've owned so many horses, so I've learned a lot about how this process works. And so if you've got a 2-year-old and it's a turf horse, good luck getting a race until the horse is 3.
I agree. Yep. You're right on target there, Scotty. But looking at this race, I'm not sure I like the 12. I think I would take a shot with the 8. I mean, this is a City of Lead. I don't love the GSR, but blinkers on, second race off a layoff, off a synthetic, cutting back, and raced against a pretty salty group first time out at Saratoga sprinting, and the horse doesn't want to sprint. Blinkers on, stretching out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take a shot with the 8 at 11-1, most likely, if I was.
I think I had a positive note in this horse. Just the trainer is 0% win, but Reyes jumps aboard here, and let's see what my note is. Take Me to Paris steps into a far softer field today, dropping from maiden special weight to the 25,000. Her workouts, while consistent, lack a sharpness needed to suggest a dramatic turnaround. That is true in the workouts, but if the horse is already fit, that might not matter. And you know, maybe she's going to improve in these conditions here for sure. She was a difficult read for me, but I could see why you would like a horse like her.
Yeah, to me, that's an NHC horse written all over it. I mean, 11-1, first opener race. Let's try to bust out and get a $30 profit, $30 number in our bankroll, and then start the day off on a good shot. Yeah, that would be right up my alley.
Now, this horse here was interesting. I watched the past performance of this horse, and she kind of ran in like patches a little bit. But I'm thinking that the win percentage goes up, the GSR goes up 8 points, facing a little bit easier. But Johnny Velasquez jumps aboard. I thought we might see an improved effort here, and it is the top pick as well. And then lastly, look at this is a big drop in class here for this 4-horse, and the GSR goes way up. And the horse showed speed early before fading late. Those are prototypical signs of a horse that should improve on the stretch out, and even show some tactical speed from that inside post when a couple of the main contenders are on the outside post. So I wouldn't sleep on the 4 completely. It's 22-1 right now.
Yeah, I think that, it has an outside shot. Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Okay, let's go to Tampa race number 1, since that's going off. We have 30 minutes to get these 6 races done. That shouldn't be a problem.
Should not be a problem. Well prepared. Okay, Tampa Bay race 1. Run the simulator. We got a maiden special weight going on 9 furlongs or a mile and an eighth on the turf. Maidens, and it looked that Scotty, I narrowed this race down to basically 3 contenders that I was interested in, and I don't like I don't want the 8-5 current favorite Stop the Press. I'll start there, and let me just pull up my notes. So we have the simulator clearly showed that the 6 would be on the lead, correct?
Yes, and then
question first. Yeah, and I think that now you got a couple of horses here. I think we probably should start off with the Chad Brown horse, right? Off a layoff, running at distances, longer distances. So this is a big cutback for this horse. And now blinkers off for the first time, off freshening and shipping down to Tampa. Now the way I look at it, in my opinion, at least, when Chad Brown is shipping a turf horse down to Tampa, that's normally his second string. He'd be shipping this horse down to Gulfstream for the championship meet. And this horse has had numerous opportunities, 6 starts, has been in Tampa before, started a career in Tampa with 2 nice seconds. So the horse is competitive, but at this point, it's Vino Rosso. I'm not a huge fan of this horse, and the horse is. It will be overbet 9-5. So I'm looking for a little bit of a better price here. And the other horse I thought was a contender was Caller, the Calumet Farm horse for Owen Hardy. Comes off some tough turf races. This horse was massive prices at 38-1, 50-1 at Kentucky Downs and Keeneland. And we had an inside post in one race, outside post in the other. It was totally, those are bad posts in either case, in my opinion. And then shipped down to Tampa and had a pretty decent closing kick, and it finished a pretty good 4th from an inside post. So I thought that horse had a shot. But ultimately, Scotty, I landed on the 5, Eternal Mischief. I'm a sucker for Grand Motion horses, especially second or third time starters. This horse makes its 4th start. And with each race, the first race at Keeneland, I always give a Grand Motion turf horse a couple starts. He very rarely wins first time out. mile and an eighth, and there were even starts, nothing great, but it looks like to me every race this horse is showing a gradual improvement, the 5. And again, you just look at the numbers, finished 7th first time out, 4th second time, 3rd, and just a length and a quarter behind the winner. And that was Sebastian the First was ahead of that horse, but now stretching out, should be sitting on a big effort here. So I'm all over the 5 here, Scotty. Eternal Mystery.
All right. I thought you made a really nice case for this 2-horse caller. And the reason is, if you look here, broke 12th, veered in at the start, and still only, at the stretch was 2.5 lengths back, lost by 5 1/4. Mm-hmm. Then bumped at the start, was in the 3 path, broke 10th from the 12 hole. That wasn't a good trip, and the horse still finished. Then here at Tampa, boxed and closed well late against, albeit easier, and only lost by 1.5 lengths. The 2 has to be a strong consideration. I think I'm going to end up here, though, for Claude McGahee. And the reason is the class of this horse is just too much. And I think off the layoff, Sammy Camacho, who I'm a big fan of, I just think this horse is going to find a way to win. For me, I'm going to go with the 4-horse, but with a strong consideration of the 2. So 4-2. Okay,
so I would be my second pick would be the 2. So I'd be 5-2 here, and Scotty is 4-2. Right. Okay.
Let's
lock you in. Race number 2 at Tampa.
All right, let's run this race.
Okay, so race number 2, we've got a 7-furlong dirt race, maiden 16 claimer for 2-year-olds. 2-year-old fillies and mares. Okay. Okay.
What are your thoughts?
We've got the 8 who, has a shot for Delgado, dropping down from a 25 claimer to a 16 off a couple of even races. 3 back, had a decent race at Parks. At the morning line, 2-1, I'm not really interested. I'm not going through a lot of horses here, but the one horse that I was really interested in and I put on top is the 11 Style in Time. And you're going to tell me, Scotty, David, bad post. You can't win from the 11 post. Well, here's the thing with this horse. This horse was in a 12-horse field in its debut race on November 20th at Tampa, 5.5 furlongs, and drew the rail. Yeah. And didn't really break. And that's a tricky post. I don't like my first-time starters drawing the rail, especially 2-year-olds. I prefer them to have a middle to outside post in their first start. So now this horse does draw to the extreme outside, but I don't think I'm really as worried about that because it does drop down now to a 16 claimer off that start where it absolutely did no running. I'll acknowledge that, but drops down from after the non-effort from a 48 SOR now to a 40 SOR, and it should be in a pretty good spot. If you look at the other horse, I thought that was a contender is the 1 Rip Riding Away. And that's not slip sliding away. That's Rip Riding Away. Kathleen O'Connell had the outside post in a 7-furlong race at 25,000 in its third lifetime start. Now second off a layoff, but now draws the rail at 7, which is tricky in a large field. Blinkers on, may show some speed. I thought, to me, those are the 2 horses I want, but I prefer the outside post. So I'm going to go with the 11 big time as my primary pick, and my secondary pick would be the 1 Rip Riding Away. How'd you see this race, Scotty?
Well, I unfortunately didn't have time to handicap ahead of time, but I'm looking as we speak. I think the 8 horse is a big drop in class, and when you look at this race here, was evenly, and then. But I think what hits me here is, look, this was a little bit tougher group here. The win percentage dropped, and the horse ran evenly as what it did before. I look for improvements within the running lines, make sure I look at the trouble line, things like that. But this is a drop to 40 group, which is smart. And Ademar Santos is actually a very capable jockey. The win percentage goes up. I like the post position. I think that the horse drawing this post position, the horse should be able to sit a very, very nice trip. And so I'm kind of leaning towards that. I'm looking, let me just look real quickly here so I can give good information. We've got 2 minutes before Gulfstream Park. We'll go to that race number 1 just to watch that, although it plays no part in this.
And I should just add, Scotty, since you're focused on this horse, the 8 also equipment change. We have blinkers on too.
Blinkers are added. Okay, blinkers added. Okay, blinkers added. That's good information to know. The EquinEdge long shot. I mean, what I look for in a horse is did it improve from its last race to this race? And it really didn't. And so I don't know why I would like a horse like that horse, because I don't really see the improvement from the Indiana race to the Tampa race. This is a really good way to handicap, by the way. You could just look here and go, okay, no real issues. Oh, they actually had some issues here, awkward start. And then so you would suspect in the drop in class, you would expect that this horse is going to improve here, and it just stopped. So not one that I probably would like to, and relying on this horse improving. Horse broke from the 11 hole here, talking about the 11, widest post. Did it improve from the race before that? It did. Look, it was closer here. Instead of 9 lengths back after breaking first, it was 1.5 lengths back. So the 9 horse is the type of horse that's actually showing improving and drops in class here. So I like that. I'll take, for me, it's going to be 8, 9, 9, 8. I'll take that. I like that. I think the 9 might improve, draws a good post. Buenos dias, Oscar. ¿Qué tal? So I'm going to go there. Let's make sure.
Okay, so I'm 11-1, and Scotty, I'm locking you in at 8 over the 9?
8 over 9.
Okay, so that would be your primary pick, 8 over the 9. Okay, well, we're on separate pages in that race, but that's what makes it fun. All right, so you want to go to 3rd, Tampa. You
had, who did you have again? You had the 11 over the 1, right?
Yes, 11-1 for me.
Okay, let's see here.
All right, so race 3 at Tampa Bay, we've got a 7-furlong, $8,000 claimer. Non-winners 2 lifetime for 3 and up. And a pretty competitive race with a lot of options here.
Okay. Make sure.
Okay. The top win percentage is 20%.
Race number 3. If we could get this race done before the Gulfstream Park race, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so we've got a 7-furlong claimer for non-winners of 2 lifetime. And I don't see a lot of speed in this race. I think the logical horse, Scotty, that I picked here is the 9 Tis Lord.
David, let me stop you real quickly. Sorry. Thank you for that information, John. So yeah, I'm almost disappointed that damn 11's being scratched.
Oh, the 11 scratch. That's the
11 is scratched. I'm telling you, that horse was not winning that damn race.
Well, he's not winning now. You're right. You're right. He's not winning today. So
no,
you are absolutely right.
He's definitely not winning today. Yeah. Come on, man. Hey, Catherine.
Now my horse is down in price.
Man, that stinks. That stinks. Okay. All right, back out to Tampa 3. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Okay, the horse that really makes sense to me was the 9 Tis Lord. Based on the drop down from a 25 claimer at Parks, at a mile and 70 now, dropping down from a 25 to an $8,000 claimer, which is a 50 SOR in the last race compared to a 46 SOR. So it's not a gigantic drop here, but it makes sense. This horse looks faster than a lot of the other horses here, so I'm looking in races like this where I think there's a strong favorite, a horse that I'm really worried about. Is that how would you beat this horse, right? This horse does have some positional speed, but it's going to be closing. Most likely be closing. The speed, the pace metric on the 9 horse is the lowest in the field at 21. So in my eyes, the way to beat him is most likely, if a horse is going to beat him, is going to be on the lead or stalking the pace. So I think the 8 is the clear pace advantage here, has a clear pace advantage, but I'm not sold on this horse. I don't know if this horse wants to go 7. And I think this may be this 8 horse may show a little speed pop and then drop. The horse that I was interested in here, who I think could have a chance to beat that 9 horse, the favorite, is the Ferraro horse, drawing the rail. I know it's a little tricky, but if you're going to draw the rail, it starts with Tango I'm talking about. If you're going to draw the rail, you want speed. So this horse is either going to gun to the lead and try to outfoot the 8, in my opinion, or just stalk the 8 and have the lead coming down the stretch and say, you got to catch me. And so that's the way I looked at this race. It's second off a layoff. Now, the thing I am concerned about, Scotty, is the class level. This horse is a New York bred, raced for 5K. Now it was a 2 lifetime at my home track now, Finger Lakes on a muddy track. But showed speed and almost got the job done, just got caught. I think I've seen so many 7 furlong races where the pace is not too competitive and a horse gets clearly out in the lead. So I think that's the way I'm going to approach this. I'm going to go with the 1 Starship Tango over the 9 Tis Lord here.
Dave, we're going to come back to it, okay? We're going to get out. We're going to get out and we're going to watch this race.
Okay.
Just more than 15.
So a reminder, the EquinEdge picks in this race number 1 at Gulfstream Park are 2, 12, and 4. The 6 is your favorite. The 6 wins the race simulator. That's what it looks like by a couple of lengths. We'll see what happens here. It's got a 17% win. It's just an absolute grab bag. I'd love to see the 4 Boombox Betty win, but let's see what happens.
And I'm on the 8. Take me to Paris.
Set for a start.
Good luck, everybody.
Racing at Gulfstream. From the middle, Goddess Soteria gets the first call and goes looking for the lead. The gray Boombox Betty is down at the inside. Race favorite Altamira Sir comes away in 3rd. Saving ground is Cam's Princess, who races into 4th. Then Take Me to Paris. At the rail goes Gwenny the Butcher. 3 wide is Timber. It's a length and a half to a headstrong Weather Lady. And out the back is Princess Claudia.
They're going pretty slow. I'm going to guess 24 and change.
Yeah, it seems like.
Oh, 23.
Oh, you're a good judge of pace, Scotty.
Yeah, I guess not, but they don't look like these are horses. It doesn't look like they're moving that fast.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
The Butcher is there 7th from Weather Lady 8th.
Look, that's the top win percentage right now. I think at 24%, and it's in the lead, moving pretty nicely. There's the 2 horse Cam's Princess, the top EquinEdge pick, and the 6 horse at 17% on the outside, moving pretty nicely.
Sir given the green light by Sias to go after the top 2. 4th at the inside and held together is Cam's Princess. A gap of 5 more to Take Me to Paris.
4 looks
3 clear of
all out to me, but the 2 looks running the best right now. If it can get through. And it's going to have to go wide.
Bid 3 wide.
Good move, though.
Off the inside, Cam's Princess is going to try to hook around her. Meanwhile, Goddess Soteria tries to hold them both.
And the green, the 2 is very green. 6 is going to win this race over the 2. And your 8's coming and going to make it interesting for 3rd, but it's going to be 6-2.
That's as far as she gets. It's
yeah, the favorite, 32 shots to win.
Second, Cam's Princess.
6-2-5-8.
6-2-5-8. Okay.
6-2-5-8. We'll take a look at that real quickly. 4 had no excuses. It showed some speed before stopping late. 2 ran good. And there's a 6 horse. Let's see here. It would help if I show you guys the screen. And yeah, the 11 horse, as we talked about, really didn't run very good, did it?
No. You got to be in it to win it, as they say.
You got to be in it to win it.
Can't win in the barn.
So, all right. So the race simulator had it right. 6 horse was 5-2 EE morning line, goes off at 3-2. And there we go. All right. Where were we? Race number 3
okay,
at Tampa.
We're just going through race 3, and I'm settling on the 1 with the speed from the rail. I'm thinking we could get a wire job here over the 9. But before I just wanted to also add the horse that I thought had a long look at a price was the 4 Diamond Mesa. Of those 2 last mile and 16th mile and 40 in the same level. I mean, they're not bad races. You know, 3rd and 1, and now Menses goes over. I mean, cutting back is usually a move I like, but 1 for 15. But it wouldn't surprise me if this horse was competitive here with the 4. So I just wanted to give an honorable mention to the 4 Diamond Mesa, who I think has an outside shot here too.
Yeah, I do kind of like this 4-horse because I like that it showed some speed and now it's cutting back to 7 furlongs. It's never been 7 furlongs before, but it's been pretty consistent in the last 3 races. This is the type of horse that will usually show about the same. We'll see on the cutback. The 8 furlongs might make the difference. Yeah. The GSR is about the same. In a race that's wide open, 6-1 on the EE morning line. The 9-horse, I will say this. I'm going to try to beat this 9 for sure because you've got no speed. You're 20% to win, but you've got no speed and you've got an outside post. I mean, look at this. That is a recipe for no bueno.
Yeah, and again, if this horse had maybe the 3, 4, or 5, 6 posts, I'd probably be all over it and say, let's go with the chalk. So that's the reason I'm trying to beat it. And again, the scenario, the likely scenario, if you're going to beat this horse who is a closer, is somebody who gets to jump or is wire to wire. So,
right.
And I should also mention, because it's one of my favorite trainers down there at Tampa is Gerald Bennett. His horse just broke its maiden for 16 and comes back at 8, but it moves up in SOR, and it's tough, I think, to break your maiden and come at, especially at 16 at this level, stretch out to 7 and win right back. But I mean, I've seen it happen before, but I'm going to fade that horse a little bit. Sa.
All right, I'm taking a look real quickly at this horse with 27%. The GSR goes up. It improved. Let's see here. It improved on the drop in class, so it did what it was supposed to do. It's had a long layoff. The workouts are just okay. Nothing really to grab from there. What a tough race this is.
And the reason why that put me over the top to not use it on top or in my first or second pick is the move in SOR from 36 up to a 46. So even though it's dropping down to 8 against winners, it's a tougher race. Yeah. And so I faded that horse. So I prefer the 1 over the 9.
I'm going to take the 4-horse. It's the EquinEdge second pick. So, okay. Who did you have again? The 1?
I had the 1 and the 9 as my secondary pick, with the 4 as an honorable mention. So I definitely understand why you like the 4.
You're going to take all the horses. You might as well just, take every one of them.
Why's that?
I said you might as well just pick every one of them. You got the 1 for this, the 9, the 4 also. Anybody else you want to also mention?
Oh no, I mentioned the 3 EE picks. What do you busting my chops for? I could mention the 6, no problem, Joe. You'll have a bunch of guys named Joe playing that horse, and I thought that horse had another outside look, second rail for layoff. Oh. But I thought this was the most out of the feeders. This was the most challenging race.
The 6 is a very interesting horse. You're getting the bug. Had a wide trip 2 back, only lost by 3 1/4 lengths. Then broke 9th last time out. And then in the stretch is only 2.5 lengths back before giving up late. Second off the layoff, the trainer is 11%. I'm going to say 4-6. I'm going to give the 6 and also mention as well.
Yep. Thought it had a shot. Yep. And I just want to give a shout out to Willie. Willie heading to Winners Circle OTB in Bayonne, right? Okay. Good luck. Good luck to you, Willie.
Okay. We've got race number 1 at Tampa here in 9 minutes. Do we still have to do all 3 at
piece of cake, Scotty? Piece of cake.
Goldstream. There's good news here. As I handicapped those the race number 2, 3, and 4.
So you did your homework on those races.
Those ones I did.
Okay. In your defense, we had a conversation yesterday. I know you put in hours and hours putting your notes in and golf. So I'm busting your chops. Your heart. Okay. You're putting tons of hours on this stuff.
That's okay. I can speak to these next 3 races. Okay, go ahead. Start us off.
All right, I'll make it quick. I won't carry on too much like the other races. My top pick is scratch. Sanadora Girl for Barboza. So now it leaves me with 1 horse, and that's the 1, Pharaoh's Baby Gal. This horse drops way down in class today. Off a synthetic, then a mile on a turf, back to synthetic. Now back to dirt at 7 furlongs. This horse won a mile race at Laurel, so can handle the dirt track, but we don't know if it can handle the dirt at Gulfstream. The rail post I'm a little concerned with going 7. There's an 8,000 claimer, the lowest this horse has been in. This horse should wake up, in my opinion. The SOR drop is is from a 60 to a 48. So when you drop from a 60 to a 48 SOR, much easier spot. I think this horse now, to me, it was the third choice. I think it's probably going to be the favorite or second choice next with the 7 Passager, but I prefer the 1 over the 7. So I'm on the 1 here, and I would, if I have 2 tickets, I would be on the 1 on both here.
Okay, well, we're on the same page. I've got, if you want to see my notes, you can check out my notes. I do have notes on this horse, and I like this horse even before the 2 was scratched. And this horse needs the lead. It's facing 8 points easier. It's going from 1% to 32%. And the GSR is going from 51 to 63. Everything is set up for this horse. And I'll say, I did put a note on the 7. I don't hate the 7. I do think the 7 is going to be second. But look, if you look here, you guys, it's the same story. The horse runs the exact same. It's going to be in last early, which is not a good thing here at this track. Maybe the 7 furlongs here helps the 7 get there late, and maybe that hurts the 1 horse a little bit. I don't think so. We've seen the 1 horse win at 8 furlongs over at Laurel Park, getting the lead. You can see this horse's best races are when it gets the lead, especially at this easy of a group. I think the 1 is going to be tough. Relu Gutierrez is the board, so we agree on the 1.
Okay, and I'll just point out the 7 currently is 4 to 5. I know there's 17 minutes to post yet, probably more like 20 minutes, but the 7 is 4 to 5 to me is totally overbet.
All right,
I've been in this level for just seems like forever.
Catherine, we are not going to be covering Oaklawn because it's not part of any of the qualifiers that we're playing.
Right,
okay, David, start us off here. We got 2 more to do, and we have 6 minutes to do it.
Okay, we got a 5 furlong Topita race, maiden special weight for 2-year-old Florida state-bred maidens. And let's just go to my winning horse here. Was scratch? No, we have 1 scratch. The 2, sneaky. And I will say that horse had a sneaky shot in this race.
No, sneaky scratched? No, the 6 is scratched.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the second race. My computer is going a little slow. The 6 is out. Okay. With that being said, now I can't get my. All right, I'll just look at my notes. There it is. All right, sneaky is in. My apologies. The horse that I'm looking at is not one of this top Scotty picks. I just think this horse is being overlooked. So let's go right to it. This is a 3 Awesome Edition. This horse had in his last race ran 7.5 furlongs on the turf and didn't really do much running. The other turf race, it's the debut race at Monmouth at 5.5, didn't do much running either. But if you go back and look at that middle race, a 5 furlong race at Gulfstream on the Topita, October 11th, this horse was bumped twice at the start or in the early stages of the race, and then managed to rally for a third, only losing 3/4 of a length to the eventual winner.
Yeah.
It's tough. 5 furlongs is an absolute sprint. It's just a dash in so you got to be close to the pace for that horse to get with a bump start and then start out in 8th place and then rally to 3rd. It was a big effort. Maybe this horse just likes the synthetic better than the turf. Gelding first time picks up my boy JJ Castellano first time out. Hall of Fame jock. How can you go wrong? I'm all over the 3 Awesome Edition. Getting back to turf. To the synthetic. Probably showing a little more speed in this race, and hopefully doesn't get wired. But I'll take the shot at the pretty decent price with the 3 Awesome Edition.
So initially, I was going to go with the 2 sneaky because Jaramillo's aboard, and he's going to get this horse out of the gate, and this horse still might win the race.
Right.
And of course, speed holds on the synthetic. The issue that I'm worried about a little bit with the 7, and I'm leaning towards the 7 horse, is the 2. Is he going to duel with the 2 horse, which could set it up for the 5 horse or set it up for your 3 horse? That's what I'm mostly worried about. But I don't think the 7 needs the lead. But if you give the 2 an easy lead, then the 2 could be long gone. So I'm struggling with that because that's the way I think the race is going to play out. Jaramillo is going to send the 2. Going on the synthetic, the horse will probably have the lead. It's a fine breaker, and it didn't like 6.5 furlongs. There's only 10% to win. It was against a tougher group. Now the GSR goes up, the win percentage goes up, and the SOR is facing easier horses, which bodes well for the 2, especially with Jaramillo aboard. Speed holds here. Now the 7 going to be sitting on the outside, probably relaxed. I like Gonzalez with first-time out horses, and he's very good. He's a very capable trainer. And in fact, there's a positive workout here, 3 of 42. This horse is training very, very good. So I'm going to just stick with my gut. I'm going to go 7-2.
All right. So Scotty, 7-2. I'm locking you in, and I am on the 3. And I'm on the 3. That's my lone pick. If I had 2 entries, I'd be on the 3 on both with my boy, JJ Castellano. All right. We got one more.
We've got about 3 minutes, 4 minutes to do this race. Go ahead and start us off, David.
All right. It's a 5 furlong Tapeta, claiming 17.5. None was a 3 lifetime. I make it quick. I like the 2. Reassess the morning line 2-1 favorite. And I don't understand. The one thing I'm a little concerned about, to be honest with you, is the lack of love on the EquinEdge picks here, because he's nowhere to be found in that race, right?
No.
And I apologize, my computer's slow, but I had that in my notes that's a concern of mine. But this horse in his last race ran at 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta, 35,000 beaten claimer. Pretty decent fourth after an awkward start, only 1 3/4 lengths behind the eventual winner. Drops down to 17.5, but it's no real difference in SOR, right? 56 to 54, slight drop, but I think this horse looked logical and has won a race over the Tapeta. So I just went with the 2 reassess here.
All right, so for me, you can go either way with the 3, 4, or 5. That's really where I think it's at. I think the 4 horse might be a little outclassed. It won a 44 group and a non-win as a 2 lifetime, barely going 5.5 on the synthetic. So it certainly, fits here. And but the 3 horse can sit a really nice trip with Irad. It's facing easier. The last couple of races, it's broke slow though, so it might be too far back. So for those reasons, I'm going to play away from that horse. I'm going to take a chance with a long shot, because I think the reason I didn't like your horse, David, is because I do think the 5 Minxie is a classier horse and will actually have the lead, which is going to be tough here. So if the 3 horse breaks good, the 3 horse in my mind is going to win. If it doesn't, then I like the 5. So for me, I'm going 5-3.
Yeah, the 5, the concern I had with the 5, Scotty, because I gave that horse a long look in my analysis, is the first time Tapeta. So we don't know how the horse is going to take to the Tapeta. I don't see any works on the Tapeta, and I see a voided claim on February 16th, and it's a long layoff off a different trainer change. But the trainer's been hot, 3 for 6 at the meet. So I thought the horse had an outside look too. So I'm going to lock you in on the 5. And your second was the 3. I'd be on the 2 reassess. If I have 2 tickets, it would be 2 on both tickets.
Okay.
All right. We got through that.
We got through the feeders. All right. So here's Tampa Bay Downs.
All right. How many minutes to post?
I'm on the 4 horse Stop the Press, who's even money. I don't like that, but I thought the 2 horse Caller deserved a lot. I think the 2 horse is going to be first, second, or third. So if I'm playing a horse and I'm playing an exacta or a trifecta or whatever, or my key horse in this race would be the 2. I think the 2 is going to run a good race either way.
Right. My key horse would be the 5, the Grand Motion horse. 4th time on turf, showing a little bit more improvement and probably relishing the distance, I'm hoping. So.
All right. They just got to the gate. They're going 9 furlongs on the turf. And if you were going to bet this race, how would you bet it?
I think I would just make a win bet. I'm more of a win bet guy. I'd make a win wager on the 5. And if you're going to force me into an exacta, I'd probably use the 5 over I'd take a chance of 5-2 exacta here.
5-2?
Yeah. Ice cold.
Ice cold. 5-2.
That was pretty poor ice cold, huh?
That was pretty bad, Dave.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to be a Dave Weaver. I got to practice up. But see, I need to do it in front of the mirror.
I will say this. Your 5 is a nice play at 9-2. And the reason is this is a horse that has experience at 9 furlongs already. When you have these young horses that don't have a lot of experience, and I know the factor analysis has 11 furlongs and stuff like that, but 9 furlongs and 12 furlongs, completely different race in my mind.
Yeah.
you know.
And you'll see that a lot of these Chad Brown horses, going a mile and 3/8, mile and a quarter, mile and a half. It's a big cutback to a mile and 1/8.
All right, I'll try to give you my best Trevor Denman. The 3-horse broke a little bit slow, kind of stumbling a little bit. Not surprisingly, the 6-horse is on the lead. And they're running pretty easily. They're just cruising. Ears are pricked for all of them. And the 5 sitting in the garden spot in second right now off the 6-horse, who's projected to stop late, but that's a pretty slow pace. 10-1 on the 6th. Oh, the rider just fell off the 1-horse. It was kind of weird. I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, of course. I looked down at my notes just when it happened.
Yeah, I looked down as well, and the one's kind of circling the field right now, which definitely can affect them right now. Going to the outside of the 4-horse right now with no jockey on, and that forced the jockey on the 4 to ask the 4 to stay a little bit closer in that 25 pace. Now the 5-horse, Eternal Mischief, at 5-1, your top pick, just past the 6-horse.
And it's very slow pace, 25. So
yeah, but they've just picked it up right now. You can see right now, they're asking now, and that kind of forces the hand of the 5 a little bit. And the 4-horse Stop the Press is 6-5. 2-horse has been sitting in the garden trip, honestly, on the inside, relaxed pretty good. And the 3 who broke slow is sitting on the inside of the 1 and that's kind of throwing the 3 off a little bit. But the jockey is loaded with horse in the 3. I would say that right now, from where I'm sitting, the 3-horse has the most horse and just about to circle the field right now.
That's Chad Brown's move. This horse comes flying.
Yeah, I mean, they're right, like passes them like they're standing still.
Yeah.
And they're slowing down in 114 flat, and boom, there she goes, 7-5. Factor analysis just passes them like they're all standing. And now they're running for second. Here comes the 2. And the 2 and the 4 are dueling for second, but there's no doubt about who your winner is going to be.
No doubt about the winner. On the cutback, much the best.
3, 2, 4 is your order of finish here at Tampa Bay in the opener. And we struck out there at 42%. Top EquinEdge pick, 6-5 in the EE morning line. Why are you trying to play against the horse that has all the metrics?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be a wise guy here, Scotty. But I just figured that this horse has had a number of chances. And I mean, on his best day, could win, but it wasn't worth the risk at the price.
Look at Catherine nailed this thing. That's 2 in a row. Like when she gets hot like this, there's just Catherine. Tell us what you like.
We can just there we go.
Catherine, do me a favor. We're going to task you on the not the feeders, but the qualifiers. Okay, so we need to know who you like in these qualifiers so we can put the right plays in. Okay, that's what we need. That's the job.
There you go.
All right, Gulfstream Park race.
Well, we got an inquiry. Well, the inquiry is because of the one
fallen horse.
It has nothing to do with the winner.
Fallen jockey, yeah.
Right.
Okay, we're going to have about 6 minutes before Gulfstream Park race number 2. David, how about we start the qualifiers? You want to do that?
Sure. Let's get a jump on them.
Okay.
We got Tampa Bay race 6. So let me go to Tampa Bay race 6. The only thing I'll say, the 3 was in the back of the pack with the 1. It's not a possibility that the 3 might have bothered the 1, but let's move on. It's not going to factor in. All right, Tampa Bay 6th. We've got a 6 furlong claimer, $8,000 for fillies and mares 3 and up. And watching the racing simulator,
5's going to have an easy lead. And there's some pace in this race, which may or may not set it up for a horse like the 9, but the 9 is wide. It is the top pick, but it's also wide. But the 5 now is going to inherit the lead with the scratch of the 6, Sassy Charlie, who was, in my opinion, going to be very, very difficult to beat in that race. Let me just pull up my Tampa Bay here. I will say this about the 9 horse. The 7 and the 8 are going to be well back. And so it might not be that difficult for the 9 to get in a position before finishing. But the other thing I'll tell you is, David, I looked up a stat. Where'd he go? I lose you already?
No, I was getting a phone call.
Okay.
Sorry.
What I was gonna it was very important information I'm going to give out, so I wanted to wait for you to come back. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. And that is, whoever has the lead at the second call, going 6 furlongs on the dirt at Tampa Bay Downs, wins a staggering 68%.
68%
of the time. If you are on, whoever's on the lead. So speed at 6 furlongs is super, super tough. And look who's in the lead pretty easily there. Little Miss Camille, the 5 horse. Now, at the end, kind of drops back a little bit, but only drops back a length and a quarter or so. And and you know, the last call in the race simulator is the most inaccurate. So what kind of chance do you give this 5 horse to go gate to wire, considering what I just told you? And oh, by the way, gets 113 pounds with the bug.
Yeah. I had to look at this race again with the scratch of the 6. I thought this horse has won 5 races at Tampa, 5 races at the distance. It's a 5-year-old mare, hard-hitting horse, comes back to Tampa, even race from an inside post, flattened out, but lost to Sassy Charlie, who would have been the favorite, who I would have probably used on top here. But I think I'm going in a different direction than the 5. I understand your point. But so I'm looking for a stalker who's going to sit a little bit off that pace. And the 2 horses I was interested in is either the 2 or the 3. And I ultimately landed on the 3 off a bit of a freshening. This horse has won 2 races at Tampa, is 3 for 16 at the distance. Looks to sit a pretty nice trip. Comes down from a layoff. The last race at Gulfstream was 8,000. Had the rail post, closed for 3rd, a length and a half behind the eventual winner. Is versatile, has raced on the Tampa main track. Like I said, 2 wins, has gone to Topeka. I just thought this horse looked like it fit well here. And at the price, I'm interested. So give me the 3. And if I had a secondary pick, it would be the 5, Miss Camille. So 3 Ideal Breeze over the 5, little Miss Camille, who's long speed.
All right, 3-5.
Yes, Catherine, it's snowing here also in Western New York in the Webster area. Enjoy the snow. I'm heading down to Florida soon and have fun with it. But it's nice around this time of year. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Let's getting back to business here. What do you make of a horse that's raced on the synthetic the last 7 or 8 races and now jumps in the dirt? Now, this horse has earned well more money on dirt than synthetic, but it's been at Presque Isle Downs the entire time. What are you going to do? Now finds herself at Tampa Bay Downs. Catherine likes this horse. This horse is 19%. The GSR goes up, facing similar horses off a layoff where Aldena's Spieth is 13%. What do you think of this 4-year-old filly?
Got a shot. It's definitely a contender. But again, these contests, my mindset normally is to look for prices. It's a little different than playing straight handicapping and playing for straight dollars. I'm more looking to be on that board and don't want to miss a price if it comes in. So it's a little different strategy for me on these contests. So I'm looking, I'd say compared to 3 to 4, the only reason I'd use the 3 over 4 is the price, right? So
happy birthday to your 33, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't know her age, but happy birthday to her though, for sure. We don't know. If we knew exactly her age, we would say happy birthday to your daughter. By the way, what is your daughter's name? I'm just saying she doesn't know her daughter's age.
I think she's 35. Well, I have to say, in your defense, Catherine, when I was talking to my wife, my son just came in for the holiday. He just flew in this morning. So I was saying, my wife's like, we need to get him this information. I'm like, he's a 37-year-old man. She goes, he's 36. So in your defense, I was close. So
look at. No. Now Catherine wants us to do the math.
Okay. She's not okay.
99, 2009, 2019, 35. Happy 35th birthday, Kendra.
Happy 35th. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, my son was born in 88. Okay, so.
Don't even start with me. I'm not trying to figure that out at all.
Okay.
Okay. Senior moment. I have many of them. Believe
No,
me.
I have many senior moments, many times throughout the day. Hopefully, it's not before I'm ready to put a wager in on a race.
Okay. Well, we both are on the 1-horse Pharaoh's Baby Gal, who's 9-5 right now because 7-horse Passager is getting all the action. Now, 7 can run. I have no doubt the 7 is going to be finishing. That all being said, this horse is going to be maybe far back in a paceless race. And right now you're getting 9-5. That's pretty good odds on this 1-horse. And I think it's because you see the 7 and on paper, the 7 looks okay, but the 7's burned a hell of a lot of money. And 2, the 1-horse doesn't look great on paper. And so I can see that, but I think we can read between the lines here, and 9-5 is pretty good on this one, David.
Yes. 9-5 I would take. Hopefully it doesn't come down any further. I apologize. I'm having a little problem with my ADW. It looks like it's down. So
just take notes.
That's okay. You've got some time. 7 furlongs here.
I have 5 other ones I can opt to. Let me remember the past.
All right.
Okay, I'm good.
I think the 1's reliable to break good. The 7, not necessarily so much. Let's see how far back the 7's going to be early and how good the break is for the 1. That's the key to this.
The outside gate.
Well, the 7 obviously overbet now with Irad on. He's been winning everything down there again.
Well, it's
Great. Good luck, everybody. Oh, that's husbands. I apologize. I got the wrong race. Yeah, I had a senior moment again.
They're off. Good start at the rail for Pharaoh's Baby Gal, who heads off for the early advantage. Away in second is Good Bright Flames. Splitting horses, both How About That and Red Hot Spark.
Well, I will say this.
That Maybach marker is just take note.
The 7 horse is not as far back as I thought it would be early. Still not really a great place to be. But the 1's running easily. And we got them 2-1 on this 1-horse, David. That's pretty darn good.
If we can get 23 and 4, I'll be happy as hell for the first quarter.
23 flat.
Field makes their way by a quarter in 23 seconds flat. They're half a mile out.
That works.
Baby
That's
Gal
7.
leads by 3 now. Red Hot Spark bids up on the outside of Good Bright Flames. Then into fourth goes How About That.
The jockey is pushing as hard as he can on the 7, and others are moving a lot better than what the 7's working. The 1-horse hasn't been asked yet.
No, he gave him a breather. Gutierrez gave the horse a little bit of a breather.
And there he goes. Now he's asking.
Now he's like, okay, now he's going to ask him.
7 is no part of this at all. We kind of sense that. But this 1-horse might be struggling to get 7 now, David.
Yep, that was my concern.
How about that? In between horses, Red
Hot Spark.
And they're an eighth of a mile from home.
I mean, come on, fight, girl. Fight, girl. You got this. Come on. 5's going to get this, I think.
How about that? In the middle, Red Hot Spark.
Well, 1's coming back. Come back. Come back, girl.
Whoa! Whoa! I think she got it. I think she held on.
All right. No, she got it. She definitely came back.
Red Hot Spark is third. Passajero's fourth in 127 and 1.
7 furlongs, 127 and 1. Didn't you do a 7 furlong breeze? Didn't you do a 7 furlong breeze in 128 the other morning?
Yeah. 131. Look at this. 120. Yeah, 127. Look at that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a workout time.
I don't know how to call that. Oh, I think on the bob.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Boom, number 1. Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
And we're right about the 7. I didn't think was reliable. And I was almost going to say,
when you have at any track outside post and no speed, good luck.
Right. And I was almost going to say before the race, and I said earlier in the show, I like handicappers and analysts with conviction. I was also going to say, Scotty, the 7's off the board. I'm telling you, the 7's off the board.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that conviction.
Well, and not only that, first of all, there's a few considerations. And I know it's easy to say after the fact, but we called this ahead of time. And came in 154, everybody. But I'm going to show you this, okay? And this is only to help. Few things going on here. One, you see a 19 pace. And you see first call, and the horse is already 3.5 lengths back, okay? That's the first thing. And an outside post. I know there's only 6 horses. So no letters, no emails, no text, no private messages. But look, not a great breaker. It didn't break great in the race. It's wide at Gulfstream Park, and you can't be wide at Gulfstream Park even in 1 turns. And on top of that, look at this. The big favorite here And the big favorite here, did the horse barely lose? No, the horse lost by 6 lengths and 4 1/4 lengths. And look at this. Look at these finishes. They all look the same. The horse has no heart or has a physical issue. Nope. Pass.
Right. And again, I think one of the other things I want to point out here, Scotty, is that this horse was exclusively on Tapeta. So when you have a horse with 12 starts on Tapeta, and then all of a sudden, with no success and just been running evenly in the last 3, 4, 5 races, and then the trainer decides to go dirt, they're grasping for straws. They're looking for like, let's give it a shot. So you want to take a 4 to 5 on a horse. The trainer's saying, let's give it a shot, see how the horse is.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to take that risk on a 10 to 1 shot, not a.
Yeah, we're going 8.5 on the synthetic, and we're not running good. No matter what we try, we're not running good. Oh, so let's just try 7 furlongs on the dirt and see if that takes.
And we'll take 6 to 5, and our horse will be 6 to 5.
No,
not for me. No.
Yeah.
And a 2 to 1, that's an acceptable price for this horse.
2 to 1 we got on that horse. Amazing. And look at the exacta with the EquinEdge long shot. Let's see, $15.40 for a buck. Anytime you beat that big favorite, you're getting paid.
Yep. Yes, you get the favorite off the board. And it's one of the things I play, one of my strategies, I very rarely will play your 2 post-time favorites in order for an exacta. I just don't have that interest. I want to either try to beat the favorite or key the favorite with never the second choice. Yeah, it's sometimes a saver wager for me, so I could break even, but that's not a strategy I look to improve my ROI with 2 favorites in an exacta.
All right, let's get back to the qualifiers. Is you ready?
I am ready. So did we finish? We're on the 6th at Tampa.
Yeah, I don't think we really came to what you did. You liked the 3-horse. Ideal Breeze, who's 8 to 1 on the EE morning line. And I apologize, everybody, but man, I was having issues with my computer last night trying to put in my horse analysis for Gulfstream Park, and it didn't go so well for me. So you're not going to see too many past the 4th race. I should be able to kick it back up tomorrow, and hopefully get a video tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm kind of leaning towards the 5-horse going gate to wire here. I don't hate this 9-horse. Won 2 straight races, moving up in conditions right now, and I think this horse can actually get in a decent position. I like Catherine's 4-horse. I think this one makes some sense as well. And this horse has done very, very well in the dirt, and arguably is better on the dirt than it is on the synthetic. So the 4-horse makes sense at a projected 5 to 1 EE morning line. The 2-horse, wait a sec. There's nothing wrong with this one either, David. Enrique Hernandez off of the layoff. Let's see the workouts. The workouts, they're not bad.
Monmouth has one actually. I like its form at Tampa. This horse at Tampa, even though the horse is not won, had a pretty nice second on March 30th at the same level off a claim.
Yeah, you know what I've seen as well. I will tell you another thing, and I have no stat to prove this, but it seems to me when a horse runs well and then goes on the shelf, they usually come back and run well again. I don't know what that is. It's obviously unless it's a 1.5 year, 2-year layoff and there's some sort of ligament issue. But in a situation like this, the horse hasn't been seen since September or since July, and didn't run a bad race. Now comes back at a similar level. Is the EquinEdge second pick? I'm just saying, like, I'm going to take the 2. I'm going to say 295.
295. Okay, I'm going to lock you in on the 2-9. Marvelous Lady looking for her 3rd win in a row, who we didn't mention. And the only reason I didn't use the 9 is because very rarely at this level, at the 8,000 claimer level, you see horses maintain their form. But if she just decides to run like she did her last race, she probably will be right there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. In a race that kind of looks wide open, why not take the fresh face? And we might even get 5-6 to 1. So why not? Okay, we've got to cover Tampa race number 7.
Okay, Tampa race number 7. We're going to mile and 40 yards, $5,000 claimer for 3 and up. And let me just pull up my EquinEdge page.
So we have a speedster in here, Political Riot, who's has a big speed advantage going this 8 3/16 of a mile. 5,000 claimer. How do you play these things? I mean, these are the most inconsistent horses there are.
Yeah.
They're some of the most sound horses, but they're also some of the most inconsistent horses. I mean, they've got these little physical ailments, but I mean, the horse is going to have an easy lead. But it's had easy leads here and just stops right here. 3 races back, encourages a little bit, but it didn't get the lead last time out against a tougher group. But now it drops in SOR. It goes up in win percentage. GSR is about the same. It's not like the horse spit the bit out and lost by 20 lengths. I mean, the horse couldn't clear, was 22-1, was only 7% to win. And at the stretch, it was 5 3/4 lengths back. That's not bad. And it's the EquinEdge long shot, but only 6 wins in 44 lifetime races.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you pointed out that horse, because the only note I have on this horse, I didn't think there was a lot of speed in this race. I thought this was a wide open race. And the more that I looked at it, Scotty, I'm like, why not the 2 Political Riot going wire to wire in a stretch out here? So I didn't look at this race a long time. I thought the 6, 7 I had some interest in, but there was a voided claim last time out, which always concerns me a bit. The question with Political Riot is, does this horse want to really go 2 turns at this distance, but has won 1 race at the distance? So let's take a shot with the 2 wire-to-wire job for Lindsay. So yeah, Political Riot on top for me. My second pick would be the 7, Ghost Stalker. And running to his namesake, he'll stalk the pace and have a shot here. So 2, 7 for me, Scotty.
All right, we need to look to see. Sometimes we can catch some of these cheaper horses coming into form. So if we look at the 10 horse, 3 races back, I always look at the trouble line, had some issues, and was dueling from the inside, going 8.5 furlongs in the synthetic at a 49 GSR. And the horse really has not earned that much money on the synthetic. It really is more of a turf horse. So we might be playing against this horse. That was a 56 group. Today's a 48 group. In the next race, it rated against 9 other horses, and it was obviously against better competition. But what's interesting is it dropped in competition, and it dueled from a 6 post at 21%, and it's got second place, and it rated. That's why this horse is going to be getting bet so much. But it does draw the 10 hole, and the 11 horse on the outside is only 1%, has probably no chance of winning, but this 11 might press the 10. And I don't think this 10 horse is consistent enough to be betting this horse at what's projected to be low odds. You?
Yeah, I originally had this horse penciled in as my number 1 pick here. Dropping down in that last race to a $5,000 claimer and just missing. It's a good race. Running right back now in a similar company, but now draws a severe outside post. And to me, even though it has some positional speed, may not have the speed to clear the 2. So does it need to clear the 2? I don't know that it needs. No. But from that outside post, you want to save some ground. So I think because the horse doesn't have the speed, in my opinion, to clear. The horse would have to duck in over to get some position. So it could be compromised. And 0 for 8 at Tampa. So I'm like, okay, let me just look for a wire job. The 2 will have the position into the first turn, have the lead, and I'll take my chances with the 2 wiring this field.
All right, I'm going to stand up a little bit here, so don't mind me. I've been between the handicapping and everything I've been doing. I've been sitting too much, and so
while you're setting a trend. I'm having a problem with my charger here, and I'm smelling something that smells like burning rubber. Just bear with me a second.
No problem. I have I have a stand-up desk, you guys, and it's so good. And Anna bought me this like cheapy treadmill. It doesn't have any handles. It doesn't go more than 4 miles per hour. But a lot of times when I'm handicapping, I'll put it on there and I'll walk. Next thing you know, 3 hours goes by, and I just walk the entire time at about a 2.5 level, and it helps me get these steps in, because it's really bad. As a son, here I go, but it's true. I know a lot of people that are even older than me, and they sat just handicapping their entire lives, and that affected their health later on. So for those of you that maybe are doing that, you need to move. Maybe get a stand-up desk. It's cheap, and a treadmill, and make sure you're moving.
Handicap on the move. That's the way I go. Yeah. I try to do the same, and I will tell you, doing the show, sometimes I sit for too long, and you feel all stiff in the neck and everything. So definitely, I will remind myself to get up. And my problem is, when I get up normally during the show, it's to run to the toaster oven to put in a slice of pizza. So I don't know if that defeats the purpose or not, or to get a Pepsi, and that Pepsi's my downfall. But
Diet Coke for me is.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Scotty, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I guess senior moments. I know your Diet Coke is your crutch, but terrible. Mine, I just so like ingrained in me as a kid, growing up, walking up to the pizzeria, getting a what? Slice and a Coke, slice and a Coke. So when I have a slice of pizza, I can't have a beer with it. I can't have water. I have had water with pizza, but it's not the same. I think it brings back like childhood memories, good memories. And that's, subconsciously in your back of your mind. So I'll blame it on my subconscious youth, trying to relive my doctors tell me, try to avoid that Pepsi.
Oh, for
so
sure.
I will. I've cut down big time.
You have to, David. That sugar, it raises your glucose level, which is so bad for you, and that's what causes a lot of our health issues. And if we drink a lot of it, our glucose level never goes down. And that's why a lot of people are doing the intermittent fasting now, because it gives your body a chance to reset itself. And so if you're going to do that, what you might want to try to do is mix in like an 18-hour fast a couple days a week. It's really not that hard to do, honestly. If you start around 6 o'clock at night, and then you just go 18 hours, you're done at noon. So, and then you can eat at noon, and you've got that window right there. At least that'll help your glucose level drop. Not that we're changing the subject now. One of the things I do when I run the race simulator, by the way, is if there's a big favorite that I think might be vulnerable, I go like this, and then look, this is what we're looking at. Take the freaking longest shot on the board that's got a fair win percentage, and it could be a horse like the 2, or it could be a horse like the 4. And I'll also sort the EE morning line, because there's usually a tell right there. But you've got the 2 and the 4 that are also EquinEdge top pick and EquinEdge long shot. So for me, since you're going with the 2, I don't see why this horse couldn't run a decent race off the layoff for Kathleen O'Connell. She's my trainer as well. And so I'll take the 4. And then let's get to Tampa race number 2.
Okay, you're gonna have to. My computer has no video, everything. I think my Chromebook may be dying. So, but it won't affect the broadcast. It's just my second. So I got to go to my phone.
Okay, the 3 was a late scratch. That was Allenhurst. Look, we picked that stuff up fast. It's pretty neat. And then all the numbers reset, which is great. So 39% on the 1. I know that's your second choice. 7-1 on your horse, Style and Time, the 11, Dave. And I'm on the 8 horse Cantafio, who's 28%. So let me just make sure we don't miss this race.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it up on
we can't show, unfortunately, we can't show the video because we haven't heard back from Tampa Bay with approval. We're probably 3 minutes, I would say, away from this race taking off. So we'll look at this 1 horse real quickly. Broke from the 10 hole last time out off of a layoff. And that was a drop in class. And it did everything it was supposed to do, David. I have no problem with that effort. And now draws inside, 39% to win now with the scratch of the 3 horse. The GSR is the same, but the SOR drops 4 points. This also is for Kathleen O'Connell. And she's got Diaz aboard. And Diaz got off of the 4 and the 5 horse, which aren't really strong contenders to ride here for Kathleen O'Connell, but they're only 11% jockey trainer combination. But Rip Riding Away is your big favorite right now at even money.
Yes, I did notice that, and I am actually salivating at Scotty right now over the 11 price, Style and Time, who I really like at that price.
Okay, I'll turn the volume up. This is race number 2. Oh, don't spin on me. Hold on here.
I see Dave is on Spaghetti Tree. Yeah, I gave a look at that horse, but it hasn't lifted a hoof. But it's a huge drop. But I'm not sure that horse can run at all.
All right, the 1's a big favorite for Kathleen O'Connell. The 11 horse Dave is on 7-1, and the 4 kind of stumbled a little bit and broke into the back hind end of the 1, making that's going to be a tough order. That helps your 11, who had a good break out of the gate. And my 8 is in between horses right now sitting in 4th place. 4 is kind of rushing up.
It's funny, they're off now on my feed.
Oh,
I'm about a minute behind you.
The 8's not really. The 8's green and fighting with the jockey. They went 22-4. 5 and the 6 horse are dueling. The 6 horse is 59-1, dueling with the 5 horse at 19-1. So a couple of long shots. The 1's moving. I tell you what, right now, give me the 11 horse, your top horse at 7-1. My horse is. It looks like I have horse on the 8, Dave, but the jockey's been fighting with the 8 the entire time. That's not usually a recipe for winning. Here comes the 9 making a really big effort, but it's going to have to go about 7 wide. And your 11 stopping. The 1 horse is running good. My 8's coming. 9 is coming. Here comes the 8. My 8 on the rail is making a nice move. It ended up getting off at 6-5. Come on, 8. Nope, not going to get there. It's going to be 1-9-8. 1's going to get the win, even though that 4 break.
Oh, yeah. The 11 stopped and got bumped around, and that was the end of that. Yeah, the 1's running for fun at 7-5.
1-9-8.
1-9.
39%, 9-5. EquinEdge second pick. The 8 horse was just fighting with the jockey the entire time. I don't know what you think about that, Dave, but for me, I understand the horse can act up sometimes, but I think the jockey's job is to do his best to not be fighting with the horse if at all possible.
Correct. But sometimes, horses have minds of their own, and that's easier said than done, right? But yeah, if you see a horse fighting with a jockey, it usually doesn't end in a good result, right?
Yeah. Well, I was on the 8 and 9 in that race, so maybe I'm seeing things pretty good, although the big favorite won. The 9 horse got second at 8-1. So, one unofficially 1-9-8 here in the second from Tampa Bay Downs. Race number 3 from Gulfstream Park is coming up in about 6 minutes from now. Why don't we get out to race number 7 again? Because I think you made your opinion. I did. I went with the 4 horse. Okay, so I'm going 4. You're going 2.
I am going 2 Political Riot, wire to wire.
All right. How about we do Tampa Bay race? We might as well finish the 2 Tampa races, race number 8 and 9, since we're here.
Oh, okay. Let me go back to Tampa now. For some reason, my Chromebook doesn't seem to be functioning properly. That's where I have my EquinEdge up, so I may need a little assistance here with some EE information. All right, so I'm just going to rely on my notes that are on my legal pad here. All right, we on the 8th race at Tampa Bay, and we've got 1 mile and 40 yards, optional claimer between 12K and 8K for 3 and up.
So very interesting. The 9 horses even money on the EquinEdge morning line. Now, that just goes to show you that it doesn't look at pace. It does not, at least now, the old algorithms, which we still have, it doesn't look at pace, and it does not look at post, because this horse has no speed and has a wide post, has the 9 post. So for me, this horse is going to get over bet and worth trying to beat.
The 7 horse?
The 9 sweeping.
Oh, the 9. I'm sorry, the 9. The 9 sweeping giant. Yeah, I don't love the outside post at this distance, but off its last couple of races, this horse, again, now you're coming back to Tampa off a bit of a layoff. It's a definitely contender. I don't know if I would advise anybody to leave that horse out. I just thought this was, you could go 4 or 5, 6 ways here. So I kind of bounced all around. And I originally was going to pick the 5 Street Glide, but this horse, his record at Tampa is a little spotty. I mean, just seems to love to run second, right? 5 starts at Tampa, 4 seconds on this 5.
Yeah.
But I mean, does drop down back to the level it was racing at. Doesn't have a ton of speed. Golden Wand looks like the horse that makes sense here, but off a layoff, has won 4 races at Tampa. But how about the 2 horse Style Me Royal, off the claim for Gerald Bennett?
Let's see. Style Me Royal. This horse, well, first of all, Bennett's fantastic, but he's not really great with first out claims. 5%.
Yeah.
I mean, he's claimed for 8,000, moving this horse up to this start. He's protecting the horse, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I thought, I think a horse that I thought had an outside shot here was the 1 Greiser. Great. Second off a layoff. It didn't really, again, coming back from that freshening, give a horse a shot, 1 race, and then drops back down. This horse has won 8 races lifetime, 3 at Tampa. I mean, on its best day, from that inside post saving ground, may stand a chance here. And in all honesty, I was all over the place in this race. Cupid's Dude, I thought had a shot, has won at Tampa, had gotten beaten by Golden Wand and Street Glider in the past. But I think what I'm going to do is I'll settle here on Street Glide, even though I don't love the record, 4 for 5, 4 seconds, doesn't seem to have a winning profile, but thinking this might be a good spot for this horse. So I'm going to just take a guess here with the 5 Street Glide, that 3-1 morning.
All right, there is an objection. Thank you for that, Dave. I'm on the 5 as well, Street Glide. I like the form of this horse off the shelf. Hasn't been off a long time. The horse is doing well in a race where a lot of them aren't doing very good. It's the EquinEdge second pick. I don't like the EquinEdge top pick, really. It's dropping big in win percentage. It's now stretching out. Like, yes, the horse's form looks good and it's been doing good sprinting, but this is 8 3/16. It's never run this distance before, and so it's hard to back a horse in this stretch out to 2 turns when it's been sprinting. So it's gone 1 mile and 70 yards before and did okay, but I got to try to beat the 7 horse, and so I think the 5 horse might have caught an easier field. No change. Okay. No change.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Another one that is interesting is the 6 horse Cupid's Dude. 5 wins in 41 races you don't love, but this is what the entire field looks like, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah, I thought this horse had a big shot. And also, I mean, the 9 I thought had a shot. I like this, obviously, the post a little better on the 6. Off that synthetic race, coming back to Tampa, has won over the course. Yeah, this is a challenging race where you can go in a number of directions.
I want to show you why I want to beat the 9, and I'm not saying you can't. Look at 9 wins in 23 races. This has been a fantastic horse. That being said, in this particular race, and what have you done for me lately? Look at the starting point here at the 8 3/16 of a mile at Tampa Bay. This means the 9's going to be out here about where the M is for Tampa, around that first turn. And on top of that, the horse has no speed. So look at the first call. Like, this is where the horse is going to be, back over here, when almost every other horse is faster than this horse early. So now it's going to go around here. If you can picture, this was a circle here at the first call, and it's going to be well wide. It's just, I think it's the horse to beat. I think it's even money for a reason on the EquinEdge morning line, but I got to try to beat it. But I agree. The horse I'm going for second with is the 2-horse Style Me Royal, but I'm going 5-2.
5-2. So I'm going to lock you in on the 5. You're on the same horse as me. And the 2, the first time off the claim for Bennett, Style Me Royal. So I'd be on a 5-1. So 5-1 for me, 5-2 for Scotty.
All right, you're on the 3-horse Awesome Edition. Remind us again at Gulfstream Park why you like this horse.
First time, J.J. Castellano, Hall of Fame jockey, 2 back, had a decent start over the turf after a slow break, a nice finishing, closing third, about 3/4 length behind the winner. If you can run back to that race, get a pace up front, first time gelding, should compete here. So, yep, there we go. Awesome Edition for me.
All right, let's see here. Look, you know what I was impressed with? Against a similar group and only 4% to win, it's really tough to come from behind going 5 furlongs in the synthetic. And this horse was as many as 3.5 lengths back in the stretch before barely losing. So they could have been stopping. It's very hard to see. That being said, that was a pretty good effort. I'm on the 7-horse Nishum, who's your second choice. I'm not surprised that Mr. Tyson, and I think it's one we should talk about. I mean, this horse just burns money. And even though that was a maiden special weight, that was open company, you can see the SOR. Today it's a 46. That was a 46. It burned money last time out for no apparent reasons. It doesn't have that long of a layoff. And when I look at the changes, what do you see? You see blinkers taken off. That's all you see. So the layoff is because they added blinkers and the horse didn't run good. I guess maybe. Maybe you can blame the entire thing on the blinkers and why the horse didn't finish. Also, it drew the 3-hole and it probably dueled at the second call. And now it draws the 5-hole. So maybe it didn't like that pressure. Maybe it didn't get a great ride. And now Irad is on the horse. He can sit back in the garden spot and finish. But this horse is getting real action at 3-5. And, maybe the horse to beat. But I'm on the 7. You're on the 3.
Yeah, Scotty, the 5, it's never ending with Irad, right? I mean, this horse, I can see 8-5. I can almost see even money or 6-5, but with Irad, you're getting 3-5. Again, another overbet horse.
Second training victory of the afternoon.
I'm happy with 2-1 on the 7. Absolutely happy with that.
2-1, and I'm happy with the third choice, 5-1.
5-2 now. You can watch the horses you like go up when you have a horse like the 5 that's 3-5. I mean, Irad's usually going to always get overbet. He's only winning, I think, 18% of the time. So why wouldn't you try to beat him? You're gonna make money.
Right.
Let's check out the break with the 5-horse.
The day to bet Irad is on Pegasus Day.
It broke last. And the 7 broke good. And Irad did not like that and actually got the horse up closer. But look, a couple of lengths lost, rushed up. You can see the horse is a bit rank.
Up on the outside goes P4.
And the 7 is no joke of a horse. So now the 5 is dueling with what is a very, very nice horse in this race in the 7. We'll see what happens, but maybe advantage to the 2-horse Sneaky at 12-1. I can't believe that. Who's just sitting in second, running pretty easily.
Patiently handled by
that's the other horse I like. Now, Rad is sitting pretty still
Mr. Tyson makes a bid at Nishumi, who tries
on the 5, but 7's all out as well. Here comes the 2. No.
Look at this. They're flying. They're closing.
It's still Nishumi fighting with Mr. Tyson. Mr. Tyson gains the upper hand. Nishumi is back to second, kicking clear of Sneaky and P4. Mr. Tyson almost home. Mr. Tyson driven out. Mr.
5-7-2.
3-5 on top.
Sneaky third, P4
yeah.
fourth.
Irad did a nice job. So 5-7 top EquinEdge picks. We talked about the 2-horse Sneaky, who's 24%. That horse ran a really nice race at 12-1. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can skin the cat, David, right? Like, I mean, you could take a horse like that who's 9-2 on the EE morning line, 24%, and put them, in the third spot and make a ton of money.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you had confidence in that Irad horse, which, I mean, it's a logical result, right? But for my preference, I try to get a little value. But with that being said, if I thought the horse couldn't lose, you could put the 2 in for third and try to look at exotics. So you can still win races by using the chalk on top if you can come up with a good alternate plan for an exacta or a triple or something like that, where you get a price in that mix.
You ready for?
Sure. Tampa Bay. Did we get through the 8th? Right, we got through the 8th.
We got through the 8th.
We're both on Street Glide, the 5.
We're
Reluctantly in my case, but I got to pick somebody. And we'll go to the 9th then. We'll stay on Tampa Bay.
43% on EM's Treasure Girl. Did you feel like this horse deserved that kind of win percentage?
Yeah, I thought the horse would be very difficult here. Second time off a layoff, and then dropping down to a 16 claimer. This horse, and Jerry Bennett, one of my favorite trainers for Tampa. But again, I'm looking for a little bit more of a price. And I think I'm going to take a gaze at Saratoga. This horse for Kathleen O'Connell, who was Scotty's trainer, by the way. She's just such a good trainer.
She is.
That this horse has been real competitive at Tampa with 2 wins and 2 seconds at basically the same level. I probably would prefer. I'm glad this is a mile race because I think the horse, she prefers a mile rather than a mile and a 16th based on her PPs.
Yeah.
And if you look, even though she won a mile and a 16th race, 2 back at the Meadowlands, those Meadowland races, or it could be a little cheap, but she went off at 6-1 and wired the field. And she's got positional speed, can stay up miles. She cuts back now from a mile and a 16th try in a state bred allowance. She's a New York bred, and now is in the proper spot. I just think that the alternative second choice price at 7-2 is right up my alley. So I'll try to beat the favorite here with a modest priced horse, the 8 Saratoga Gaze.
Yeah, to me, with Kathleen dropping her like this, I don't think that maybe she's not doing as well.
Okay. But she's not to the same level that she competed.
I saw that, no doubt about it. I mean, but she was in for an 80 last time out, and all of a sudden drops in for 16. It's kind of drastic. She is one that definitely needs the lead. I also don't like how the race simulator has her just backing up really fast, and I also don't like how she's 7-1 on the EE morning line while dropping so big in class. So for me, there's too many negative signs. And then I look at this horse whose form is super good and can rate. Doesn't have to have the lead for Gerald Bennett. Like for me, it's just I don't think there is anybody else besides the 3.
Right. So it's all 3 for you. That's EM's Treasure Girl, and I'm on the 8, Kathleen O'Connell's horse, and that would be Saratoga Gaze. Okay.
Okay.
All right, now the next, what are we from? We got Tampa 3rd coming up, but I think we have enough time.
We do. We have 9 minutes there, so we're going to hit up Gulfstream Park race number 7, David.
Okay, now just bear with me. My Chromebook is down, and that's where I usually have my EquinEdge up.
Okay,
so I do have notes here.
When it's up, and it's hard for me to talk for that long, but I'll try to manage.
No, I'm going to try to wade through it without having it up here, because I did have notes. I do have my notes on paper. So this race I can go through because I was pretty confident in this race. Is that I came down to looking at this race in the manner that Jokes Up with Irad Ortiz is going to be the favorite. Is 2 for 2 on this Tapeta course. This is a 5.5 furlong sprint. Tapeta optional claimer for 35 for fillies and mares. This horse is 2 for 2 at the distance. Picks up Irad. How can you not like this horse, right? Looked at around a few others. The 6 Beauty of the Nile hasn't run on a Tapeta. It comes in from Indy with off the turf races have been mostly on turf and on dirt. So the synthetics, a new surface for this horse. The other horse I'm really interested in, and I think I decided to land here in the contest, even though I think I did play already a horizontal wager where I used the 7 with this horse. This is the 5 Royal Poppy for Peter Walder. This horse I was following in New York at Aqueduct, and I had won on this horse a couple of times. This horse raced in much higher company in the New York at the Naira circuit. Shipped down to Tampa, it was a disaster. Then off a layoff, got claimed for 32 by Peter Walder. Now this is second off the claim, and I don't have that stat in front of me, but I did have it. I did look it up, but I didn't jot it
right
down.
here. It's 16% second off.
16%. That's acceptable to me. And what I do like about this horse is that this horse is not first time synthetic. This horse is second time synthetic. So got a try over the track on November 22nd. That was 5 furlongs. I think 5.5 hits this horse right between the eyes. I think this 5.5 is a perfect distance. It wasn't a great first to Peter race, but the horse she ran third. It was a decent third. And again, the Tapeta 5 furlongs, you normally have to have speed and be right on the lead. This horse has positional speed, didn't show a lot of it, but I think with a race over under her belt on the Tapeta, getting an extra half furlong, can stalk pace here and maybe make a good run. And who picks up the mount? JR. Yeah. And Hall of Fame jock. What can I say? He's coming. He's a big jock improvement. So if JR is good enough for JR, it's good enough for me. I'm going to try the 5 to beat the 7, but I'd use both of them if I had 2 tickets. 5-7.
So I'm just looking at this for the first time, but while you were talking, I'm seeing a lot of speed. And when I run the first call, I see the 2, 4, and 6 dueling. The 2's on the inside of that, so it's going to take the worst of it. And although this horse is 41%, absolutely, it's only 5-1 EE morning line. I am not a fan. I won't be playing that horse. The 4 is going to be flying, but doesn't seem classy enough to win the race. And the 6 is going to sit on the outside of them. And this one really can't rate either. And it might not have the lead. Saez is going to send. I just think that if the 6 was to clear and the 6 is going all out, look, you can see what happens when the 6 clears. I'm trying to see if there's any part of the 6 horse that can just sit and rate. It looks like it has the ability a little bit, but it did this and barely won against a 44 group. And it didn't run very well against an SOR group of 60 at 42%, albeit that was in Indiana. But the GSR drops here. First time on the synthetic as well. I think we're going to see a lot of speed. So now I'm going to start closing. And so I'm seeing the 3, the 5, the 1's pretty far back, and this is 5.5 on the synthetic. 5 furlongs on the synthetic, even horses like the 2, 4, or 6 can win. But at 5.5, it does give horses a bit of time to be able to close a little bit. Not from too far back, albeit. And then when I see that, I don't like the 7, 6%, 7-2 EE morning line. I'm looking at the 1 or the 3, who, by the way, I didn't even realize it. I'm looking at it, are the EquinEdge picks. The 3 horse broke 10th last time out. We have 4 minutes before Tampa, by the way. But this horse won 2 back against arguably tougher, same conditions, everything's the same, had the 5 post. I mean, this horse is always closing properly, like always closing on the synthetic. So it's look at this, in 6 races on the synthetic, it's earned $81,000, all at Gulfstream Park, and 74,000 of that's 81,000 has been at 5.5 furlongs. So I mean, this horse likes these conditions. Going to save ground on the inside. And the only other one is the 1 horse who could be further back. I'm going to play against this horse at this level only because, although I think the 1 could be in the money, and I like the projected odds, but the horse is not a good breaker and draws the rail, which with this kind of style, it's not that the rail's bad, but I don't like the fact that the horse is a bad breaker. And so for those reasons, I'm going to go with the 3. I like 3-1.
3-1 for Scotty, and your 3 horse picks up JJ Castellano. So you're on JJ, I'm on JR, and I also the 1 off his last race, you basically just closed like a shot out of a cannon. So, but I'm not sure I can repeat that. But 3-1 for you, 5-7 for me.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let's go to Gulfstream Park, race number 8.
Gulfstream Park, race 8. Let me just see if I can get my EquinEdge back up, but I can start going through it. So we have 7 furlong race at 12.5 claimer, going 7 furlongs on the main track. We got dirt. Yay. All right. Oh, I think it's working again. Okay, just a refresh seemed to do the trick. So that is race 8, and beautiful. Reboots work so many times, Scotty.
They do.
Reboots are a great thing. Beautiful thing.
You're talking to somebody that has I just can't get a good internet here.
Oh yeah, it seems like the internet's fine. It's like weird sometimes how things back up.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi here at my house though is just not very good, and they tell me it's the best they can do here. It has
Really?
it has to do with the underground wiring and stuff like that. It's just yeah, it's terrible. All right, so I mean, you can clearly see we've got a wide open race. Let's look and see what the pace scenario looks like at 7 furlongs. We've talked about this a lot, right? Having an outside post, no bueno.
Yeah.
Going on the dirt, right? And now what's crazy is that the 3 outside horses, David, are the speed. So it's a lot easier when they have no speed and they're on the outside. I don't know what to do with this. And the reason I don't know what to do with this is that because if one of them breaks good and clears early, then we could have a runaway horse. I think we have to look at that very carefully.
Correct. Yeah, right? and we've discussed these outside posts, the team, with the entire team. Like Gulfstream, you don't want a great outside post. Aqueduct, if you're going in a mile shoot between a 9 and a 12 post, you don't want outside speed you don't want the outside post unless you have positional speed and you can get right in the game. So that would worry me in this spot with the 6, 7, or 8. But
so when I look at the 6 horse, it's inside of the 7 and the 8. It's 4% to win, and you can see it's one easy when it clears, but against much, much easier than what's lined up in here. Now, it got a little bit of a lead last time out against the 72 group here at Gulfstream Park, going 7 furlongs, and now it does it again. They're going to be sending at all costs, but it's still only 4% to win. It's still 10-1 EE morning line, and it still has 2 very fast horses on the outside of it. I think we have to throw out the 6. So let's look at the 7 horse. Now, in between these horses, you got the 7 horse that's been claimed by Regel Buto, who's a 5% trainer off of Safi. Clearly needs the lead. Also another horse that's moving up in class. They claim for 8,000, a little bit of a layoff, up for 12.5. The trainer is 0 for 4 with first off races off the claim and 0 for 3 with layoff horses. It does have 4 wins and 10 tries. It clearly needs the lead. But I will say this, like the horse in most of these races at big win percentages under Safi Joseph's care has lost ground at the end. That doesn't bode well when you have the 8 horse on the outside pressing, who's 18% 5-2 EE morning line, and so I think we can confidently throw out the 7 and the 6. Okay, your turn. What do you think?
Okay, I looked at this. With Safi Joseph, I'm always concerned with Safi Joseph horses. I mean, the 4 looks pretty solid. Dropping down, I mean, it's a 30% win percentage on the metric. Looks tough, but with that discussion about the outside post, I'm going with a horse who has got one of the inside posts and comes out of the strongest race, in my opinion. The drop down is the 2 horse off a freshening Lunissima. Castellano picks up this mount. We've got a horse now who has won at 7 furlongs pretty comfortably off a similar freshening from January 14th to April 14th, shipping from Aqueduct to Gulfstream. And that was a nice bang up race for the 25 beaten claimer. Okay. Stayed at the 25 level. Now, if you look at the
David, I'm sorry to cut you off. They're going in the gate right now at Tampa. Let's
sure.
I apologize.
Yeah, no. Let's watch the race. Absolutely.
You're on the 1 horse Starship Tango at 9-1. I'm on the 4 horse Diamond Mesa, who's 7-1. And I thought the 6 horse No Problem Joe at 23-1 deserves some consideration. So 1, 4, 6, 9, somewhere in that mix, and I'll do my best play-by-play as they're loading the gate. All right, here we go. Thank you, David. I'm going to look into that, David. Thank you for that. Elon Musk Starlink, huh?
Well, while you're giving the call on the race, I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, David.
And when the one crosses the finish line in front, I will be just heading back into my seat. Good luck, everybody.
All right, let's see who's going to break out of the gate here. They're going 7 furlongs on the dirt, and there they go. One horse stumbled a bit, David's horse. 4 broke good, 6 broke good, 8 from the outsides, all out to try to get the lead. They are dueling pretty good. The 3 horses, they're dueling with the 8 right now. The 3 horse King something or other. 3's on the lead right now, moving nicely, but dueled early. That's King Miano. Okay, 5-1, dueling with the 96-1 shot Blue Jay Way, the 8 horse on the outside. 1 horse broke slow, kind of awkward start on the rail right now. Seems to be being, pressing right now. 23-1 seems pretty decent time. 4's in between horses. My horse right now, Diamond Mesa at 5-1, and that's the 6 on the outside moving. Wow, give me this exacta. I'll be happy with that. Look at that. The only 2 horses closing right now are my 2 horses. Wow, that's 5-1 over 27-1. 4 struggling a bit though. 6 going wide, terribly wide. 3's not stopping though. Okay, 6 is shortening strides. This is between the 3 and the 4. 6 might have 3rd locked up at big odds, but the 3 is going to win the race. King Miano. 3, 4, 6, 7. Well, look at my horses ran 2nd and 3rd. I'm not hating on that, honestly. I didn't bet it anyways, but it's kind of an indication that maybe I'm looking at horses. Okay, 27-1 on No Problem Joe. Diamond Mesa at 5-1, but the 3 horse ended up getting off at 5-1, and that was King Miano. Got the lead for Kathleen O'Connell. She can train, folks. Let me tell you. I know she only shows 13%, but she's I asked her one time. I'm like, I hear so many great things about you. This is when I first hired her, and she trains a horse for me, right? Well, she was training Galicia Spirit, who unfortunately had a bad knee chip. We got it fixed, and then a bunch of particles came back, so we had to retire him. That's too bad because he was a nice one. And but we have another one called Sarkis, who's about half blind in one eye, and we got that one for $50,000 over at the OBS sale this past, I think it was June. Anyways, but I did ask her. I said, Kathleen, why are you hovering around 13%? Well, I have a lot of owners that they they want to have their horses run at certain levels. And I'll communicate with them and tell them where I believe the horse should be. And that happens a lot of times. So, but she is, I've witnessed it firsthand. I mean, she can train a horse. She's very good. And she's super patient. And and she'll tell you the truth. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. So there are worse things from a trainer that you can deal with. But the 3 horse here, look at, Speed holds. You get a horse that gets an easy lead. Look at the 3 horse got the lead. I think Ferrer is one of her. Look at see. So Jose Ferrer, they're 26% jockey trainer combination. So they're both as individuals 13%. But this is why I'm always looking at this. But look, I told you guys, outside post, no speed. I don't care what the track, chuck them out. And the 9 horse didn't run a lick. And,
I just watched that 3 ran won pretty easily. The 4, who we thought was live, also ran pretty well. Other than that, a little disappointing.
Well, and I don't know that I could have seen this coming, honestly. But if we run the race simulator at the first call, let's see who it shows getting the lead. It's not the 3, I don't think. No. So Jose, look at the jockey trainer combination with Kathleen O'Connell and Jose Ferrer. It's really amazing. Look, I was just showing this if I can find it. There it is, 26%. So I think it's important to look at this, look and see which jockeys are going to certain horses, things like that. But Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, 1 for 15. Yeah, we just mentioned before the race, right? What a great trainer Kathleen O'Connell was, and that came back to bite me in the ass because I didn't use this one. But the one thing
I don't know how you can.
1 for 15 lifetime, 0 for 4 on the track, 0 for freshening. It was the cutback, I guess. So this horse, it liked the 7 furlongs because never tried 7 before. More of a and the sprint race was probably just this horse she doesn't like to sprint.
Well, no, but look, here's what you see here. You can see, at least on paper, that the 3 most likely was going to get the lead. But there was 4 other horses that were just as fast, but this horse was sent hard, hard. Like, you are getting the lead no matter what, because if we don't get the lead, this horse is going to lose heart and we're going to lose. And that's exactly what they did. Unfortunately, we're not privy to that information. Like, I mean, I guess I could have called Kathleen and said, hey, are you going to the lead? But I mean, why would I do that? Right. We also see that 2, 3, 4, 5 races back, the horse broke on top. And maybe that was the indicator that, hey, maybe the only way to win is to send this horse. Obviously, somebody liked the horse too, because the horse went off at 5-1, David.
Right. Now, this horse did have the lead, was sent to the lead in distance races. So I didn't think at 7, this horse would have enough speed to get to the top. And I thought that the 1 was the horse to get to the lead, and did just not gun from the ridge, didn't have that position enough to get to that lead. No. Yeah. Sometimes you handicap it out, and sometimes the race doesn't develop like you plan it out.
No. All right, race number 8. Let's get this in before the Gulfstream Park race number 4, which is the last of the qualifiers, and see if we can find the winner here. You like the 2-horse Lunissima. Why I'm looking at the rest of this field, because again, I didn't get a chance to handicap, unfortunately. Talk about the 2 and I know it might be weird while he's talking about the 2 and I'm looking at other horses, but I would like to give an opinion in here if at all possible. Can you go ahead and talk about why you like the 2, if you don't mind?
Sure. Let me just look at my notes. So I had mentioned before that this horse, we're coming back to 7 furlongs, cutting back from a mile, off of freshening. And if you look back at a similar freshening back in this horse's PPs from January 24 to April 24, shipped down from Aqueduct to Gulfstream, 7 furlongs, 25,000 beaten claimer, and aired by 6 lengths as the favorite. And that was only a 5-horse field and had the rail, but has positional speed. And now we've got the similar type of layoff, a cutback, a drop in class from a 25 claimer to a 12.5. And let me just look at the SOR. The SOR is going from a 64 to a 56. So it just solidifies my opinion about the drop in class. I just think this horse fits well here, and nothing wrong with picking up JJ Castellano. And I am always afraid of the Saffie Joseph horses, no matter how they look. If you look at the 4 proverb, 8 for 11 lifetime, 5 for 6 at the distance. I mean, you can't leave this horse out. I don't want him on top, but in my horizontals, I will definitely use the 2 and the 4. So in the contest, 2 is my primary, and my secondary would be the 4, because I'll never leave a Saffie Joseph horse out of the mix.
So look, we've got 3 horses here, in my opinion, and that's the 1, 2, and 4. And your 2 horse, look, there's going to be a lot of speed, and I'm going to play against the 8 with that wide post and all that speed with the 6 and the 7. But the 2 horse has a lot of class. Look what it did when it faced a 56 group. It came from behind, not too far back, but won by 6 1/4 lengths. Then goes to a 72 group and loses only by 6 lengths. Then drops to a 62 group. And let's look at the trouble line. Off slow and didn't run. Then goes to a 64 group last time out and run to the stretch before stopping. Something happened, hence the layoff. Now comes back for 12.5. Walder off of the layoff is only 12%. And let's take a look at the workouts. The workouts seem steady. I don't really see an issue with them. So there's going to be speed. The 2 is going to save ground. The 4 horse, Edgar Zayas jumps aboard for Saffie. This horse is going to save ground on the inside. Seems to be working forwardly. The training looks super, super good. Likes to win 12 wins in 39 races. And then the sleeper here would be the one horse who's closing in the race simulator. And initially I was going to chuck it out because it's racing on synthetic. But if you look here, 4 back, 7 furlongs against a tougher group than this horse almost won and draws inside, going to save ground. And if they go fast enough, this is the one that could be the benefactor at odds. And that's what we're looking for ultimately anyways. The 4 is going to be one of the favorites. And so I'm not sure I want to go there. Initially, I put the 4. I might take a risk with the 1 horse, but for me, it's the, it's the 1, 2, 4. I think you can probably do an exacta box and hit that thing. But I'm gonna, because of the tactical speed, I'm probably going to go with the 4 horse, but I do like the 1, and I do like your 2 as well on that class. So let's. And
you're not giving the 8 a shot.
No.
Or the 6. 6 has got a lot of speed that worries me because this horse can, if it clears, got some speed to go with it from the outside. But
hey, let me give you another interesting thing to think about. Why did Irad end up on the 1 horse for Puckett?
Yeah, interesting. Has Irad been on anybody else in this race?
No, very interesting. No, yeah, actually, no, he has not. And look, Trejos was taken off of the 1 and went to the 7 horse. I think this 1 is very interesting under Irad. So you know what? I'm going to go with the price. I am going to go with the 1 horse here in race number 8.
Okay, going with it. We hope it's a price.
I think the 4 is the horse to beat, but I'm going to take the 1.
I agree. Safi Joseph's horse is the horse to beat. But we hope you get a price with the 1 because it's Irad. So you're 6-1 morning.
Well, yeah, you're right. It'll definitely get bet down.
You might get 4 if you can get 7-2, 4-1. I think you'd be okay with that price, correct?
Yeah, it's going to get bet down, no doubt about it. But yeah, Safi's probably the one to beat in that race. I might change my mind if you look to see what I played. It'll be the 1 of the 1.
It's now post time.
And that'll be the same with me. I'm on the 2, but I think the 4, leaving Safi out, that's their own risk.
Yeah.
Especially 8 for 11, 5 for 6 at the distance.
1-on-1 for D'Angelo and Irad Ortiz.
More strength and Clay
currently 1-2. 29% jockey trainer combination, 36%. Top EquinEdge pick. Off the claim. We'll see what happens. Your favorite. You're on the 2 horse Recess, and I am on the 5 horse Minxie. Who I think is going to be on the lead.
I think you are right. The Minxie, we'll see how Minxie likes the Tapeta today. Good luck, everybody.
Good start. In the middle, Minxie gets the first call and fires to a clear lead. Clay Soldier looking to get over from her outside gate. Down at the inside, reassess into the top flight. She's now 3rd. More strength is there. 4th. In tight is Vallesta. 1 of 1 is at the inside in those red and white colors. And
I like the way the 5's running right now.
The far turn they go. The leader is Minxie, 3 parts of a length.
It's pretty good on the front end.
Yeah, running nicely. Jockey's not asked. Elbows are in. Horse's ears are pricked. 7 horses, jockey's asking, where the 5 has not asked yet. 2's asking. Nobody's really closing.
Yeah.
22-2. The leader is Minxie. Clay Soldier to the attack.
Turn the corner very nicely.
She's still behind.
Go, girl.
4 lengths down with an 1/8 of a
Got
mile
good
to go,
energy. And they're coming. Well, I don't know. It's going to be really close. She's trying. Hold on, girl. Here comes.
Oh, they're flying from the back end.
Irad's going to get there. 3-5.
Irad, that's on your favorite, gets up again.
7-1.
3-5. Good call, though. That horse did handle the Tapeta, showed speed, and speed is usually what you want at 5 on the Tapeta, and just barely missed.
All right, 5-3.
All right.
Where were we? We were in race number 8. That's right. Okay. Man, Irad is on fire. I'm changing over to 4 though. I'm going to take the.
You're going to go with Proverb?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Proverb in that race, but I lean towards tactical speed. That all being said, in a race like that, and let's go to it real quickly. In a race like that, David, like even if you have tactical speed, but your style is to be near the lead, and they're going fast, you could still be too close to a very fast pace, right?
Correct. Absolutely, 100%.
And because you don't really have a gauge for it, you know they're going fast, but your style is to be near the pace. You're still sitting back, but they're going so damn fast, and you're only 3 lengths behind. You're still going fast, and that sets it up for a closer.
Correct.
Which would help your 2-horse, who by the way is dropping. By the way, the 2-horse is the class of the field, no question about it.
That's the biggest drop, yes, in SOR. Correct. Yeah.
Right, and then. I think one of my concerns is, and I know it's a drop in class with the 4 horses, but Zayas jumps aboard. But this horse had big win percentages in the last couple of races and lost. And then the other thing was when the horse was doing good, it was a 66% horse and was losing ground. Something's going on with this horse of late. Now I'm going back to the 1. I'm overthinking it, I'm sure, but and look, when you're 50-50 like that, take the longer price. That's what I always say.
Yeah, and in these contests, Scotty, that's usually the way to go. Yeah, I'm tempted to change over to Proverb myself, but I mean, it's a contest. I mean, if you're, I always go with the longer price.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we got Gulfstream 9 coming up next, right? That we have to do.
Yep.
Gulfstream 9.
Irad has 2 wins today. You've got 2 minutes before Laurel Park. Very wet track over there, very sloppy.
Oh, it's sloppy at Laurel?
It is.
All right, thanks for the heads up because we did have 2. So that's going to we had 2 qualifiers with Laurel. We'll get to those last one, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
So Mike didn't get into the qualifier, Bill?
Oh, I didn't look at the leaderboard. Chris singled Proverb and all tickets. Yeah, I just Chris, I just put a pick 5 ticket in, a late pick 5, and I used the 4 and the 2. I couldn't leave the 4 out.
David, look at this 9th race. I'll be right back.
Sure. So the 9th race at Gulfstream Park, we've got a mile and 70 yards on the all-weather Tapeta track. And this is a allowance optional claimer. Let me just get to my notes in Scotty's absence, and I apologize because my Chromebook is kind of not working too well today. So we've got an optional claimer for Florida State Breds, 20,000 on the Tapeta. And we're going to have another prohibitive IRAD favorite here in Dear Dad, it looks like, for Mark Cassie. This horse has been in optional claimer for a while in his company and always seems to fire a good shot. A lot of first, seconds, and thirds. I mean, so this horse is going to be really difficult to beat. However, if you look at the record of this horse, the career record, it's only 1 for 7. So if I'm going to try to beat an IRAD horse, make it be a 1 for 7 horse. The 3 cashier check is 3 for 31 lifetime. And drops a little in class. He also has 10 second-place finishes, so it would lead you to believe this horse does not really love to finish first, and maybe likes to finish in the herd, and maybe prefers second and third. So it's a horse I probably fade in this spot. I thought the 1 Drink and Wink, cutting back for switching surfaces from the turf back to Tapeta. 3 back had a really solid win, breaking its maiden at 12.5 over the track from the 6 post at 2-1. But this is a tougher spot, in my opinion. And this horse, even though I tried to make this horse a 12-1, was a little difficult. I'm going to go to the outside post. I don't love the outside post here. Usually not a factor on Tapeta. It just seems like the 8 horse is a solid horse, got a shot here, stretched out to 1 mile and 70 in its last on the Tapeta. And ran a pretty good race with IRAD, but IRAD goes off. You don't lose anything with Luis Saez coming on. The horse is 2-1. Is a big player here. But the horse that I am trying to focus in on and get to the money spot here for the contest is a horse who's never won on a Tapeta and has been primarily a turf horse. 7 of the 8 career starts have been on the turf course. And this horse was a West Coast horse, started its career in Tampa. Off a layoff, was shipped to the West Coast. The ship and win is probably a big player in that case, to Del Mar, and actually won a mile turf race at Del Mar. Non-win is a 2 lifetime, 20-25 claimer. Now comes back, second race at Gulfstream. The first race, he had a terrible post, the 12th post. You don't want that post going 2 turns at Gulfstream. So to me, that's a throw out. Jaramillo picks up the mount. First time synthetic concerns me, but if you look at the work on December 13th on the Tapeta, 4 furlongs, 47 3, may be indicating to me that this horse may just take to the Tapeta. So I'm going to take a chance on the 8-1 morning line here. First time Tapeta, pretty decent workout with Jack, the 8-1 morning line, Jack Kerouac.
All right. Throw out that last. Definitely throw out that last race. Actually,
yeah, you agree with me, right? The 12 post is impossible.
The sign that the horse ran some, and what they learned is, if you look at the second call, 4th, and then slowed up. Now getting a little bit easier. Win percentage is about the same. The negative for me is the drop in GSR to 47, David. But
I know.
I mean, it's got the second lowest GSR. But I've noticed if the GSR is going to be off, meaning a horse is going to win that has a low GSR, it's always on the synthetic for whatever reason. We're hoping that with the new GSR that's coming in about a week from now, that we've solved that problem. But synthetic's a rough one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't see a lot of horses with really high synthetic numbers. You see them, but not really a lot of them. So now Junction Road, the 8 horse. What was it about the 8 horse? Because the 8 horse looks pretty good on paper. You don't like it?
No, not necessarily, but it all comes down to price again, right? What the risk reward you're going to take for your wagering dollars or contest dollars. At 2-1 morning, I had mentioned I don't have any problem with Irad going off because Luis Saez comes on. I have no problem with Luis Saez, a really good jock. Has won a race. I mean, it's been in this condition twice and stretched out to 1.70 outside post and closed and got a nice second. But I'm not sure. Yeah, off that race, again, I'm looking for a price. So the horse is definitely usable, but does have a big shot here. But again, I prefer to look for a little bit more of a price. And obviously the 2 is so logical that
I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying the 2 has been in the class for a while. It's only 1 for 7 lifetime.
Yeah, when I look at the 2 horse, I see the exact same thing that we saw on the other horse. And then it's just the same thing. It's just like it never seems to get there. Has the same issues.
A lot of second and thirds. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this horse is going to get over bet for sure. It's not worth the projected 3-2 odds or lower. Absolutely not. And it does jump off this horse, and I think we do need to see why. Of course, maybe Irad's like, I'm going to ride for Mark Cassidy because I'm going to have an opportunity to get some nicer horses. And he could have made that decision. Why not? I mean, he can do that. This horse is pretty darn consistent. I don't mind this race at all. What I like about this, here's what I like about the 8. I will say that. I don't love the post. Before I make my point, let me just see where this horse projected to be at the first turn. I mean, it could end up being about 4 or 5 wide around that first turn, unless Saez goes in, or I don't think he's sending, but you never know. I don't love the post position, but here's what I do like. Horses often improve second off of going 2 turns for the first time, and that's what we might see here. It looks like this horse handled that fine, And by the way, that was a 60 SOR group, where today is a 54.
Right.
So the horse is facing easier today. It's lightly raced. It's learning. The only negative for me on the 8 is the post, but it might overcome that.
Yeah, and I think I prefer, if I'm going to do an outside post, Scotty, I prefer not to be on the Topeka at Gulfstream rather than the main track.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right?
I can see that. That makes sense. You're going to see the one horse that seems to need the lead is going to get the lead, has a 16% win. I don't think the 2 is going to duel with the 1. Could the 1 get away?
Possibly. I mean, this horse does have speed from the rail, but it's going to face some pace pressure. I mean, I think Jack Kerouac will be up there with her.
Look how well this horse has done when it gets the lead. I mean, it runs good. The race simulator says the horse is going to stop, and it's definitely moving up in class here. But look, it faced a 38 group in breaking its maiden on the synthetic, but it did it the way it's supposed to do it. It did it by 4.5 lengths. Then not many horses can then go on the turf. You're 1% to win. Your GSR drops. You're facing 14 points higher in SOR, and you barely lose. That shows a sign of talent. Then it's only 2% to win, moves up another 4 points in SOR, and you're in the stretch. You're in 3rd place against 11 other horses. Castellano jumps aboard. I don't think there's anything wrong with this one horse. It may be at their price. It may be worth playing.
I thought. Yeah, I thought this horse had a shot. And, the only knock on it was because if it broke its maiden at 12.5, that was an easy victory, stalking the pace on that synthetic. The horse just looks like after the, early in the season, off the layoff, second race back has really, really improved. So maybe the light bulb went off, and
I'm going 8-1. I think the 8's the player in here, and I like the 1. And I actually think the 1. I think the 1 is the type of horse you put in the money for sure, and probably be first, second, or third. But I'm gonna go with the 8.
Okay, I think I prefer the 8 over the 2 if you pin me down on which one I wanted to use. But I just also, Scotty, wanted to point out that Jaramillo jumps off. He was on for the last 2 races on the 1 horse, and then jumps off to go to the 5 for Spence.
Yeah, that's a good point. The only negative that I will say about this, Jaramillo jumps off, but the jockey trainer combination is only 10%.
Right, Jaramillo jumps off, but you have Castellano jumping on. So is it a big difference?
Castellano jumps aboard, and then the jockey trainer combination is 16%. Jaramillo was on for the first 2 races there, and they couldn't get the win done. Jaramillo did nothing wrong, absolutely, but I don't know. Yeah, Castellano jumps aboard. Who knows? I think it's a tough race, but I'm going to go either way. I'm going with the 8.
Okay. 8 for Scotty, 5 for me. And my second pick would be, I think I would use the 1, 5-1.
Okay. Tampa race number 6. So we've got a little bit of time just for the heck of it. I know we can't show the race, but we can certainly listen to it. How about we go to Tampa? And did you happen to look at this race as they're at the gate, race number 4, or no?
Race number 4, I did not handicap. So let me look at it quick. Are they loading in the gate?
I've got good news for you. We can do it fairly quickly.
Okay.
So let me give you my quick analysis here. I like the improvement on the drop in class last time out for the 1 horse, who looks very, very tough. Will most likely have the lead early. The 2 horse is also won 7 furlongs. That was a big win percentage last time out and stopped, but the 2 could hurt the 1. I think the 1's going to grab the lead and be very tough to catch. But look at this first-time starter, the 6 horse, Mr. Tango, the EquinEdge long shot. I mean, it's only 3%, but that's because the 1 and the 2 are taking so much action. If they duel, then take a look at the 8 and take a look at the 6 horse. And then you have a first-time starter in the 7 that's getting bet. This horse must be able to run. Somewhere in there, you got to put the 6, 7, 8.
Okay. Watching that last race at Tampa leads me to down the path that speed's pretty good.
True.
With that being said, Yeah, it's a tough race. I probably would say keep my hands in my pocket in this race, but let me just see. The top pace metric is the one's going to be tough to beat here. The one and the two.
Yeah, two's getting bet to the favor right now. It was 9-5 on the morning line. The one's a little bit dead on the board. It's going to be interesting, and I think that's because the 2-horse was on the inside dueling and hung in there pretty good. Now it draws outside. I don't know if the horse can rate or not, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. Are they backing out of the gate? So the gates are all open right now. The horses are kind of walking around. They're not shutting the gates. I see one jockey off of the horse, and that is the 5 at 42-1. There's it's likely that one of these horses is getting scratched, and it could well be the 5.
So we're gonna have a scratch there, you think?
Possibly. I don't know. It's weird.
Let me pull up my feed. I think I can get on it now. Oh yeah. I got my
the getting back on the horse. They're trying to load the 1 right now. So okay, so they had a delay there, but it looks like they're getting back on. This is an interesting race because if you think the 1 and 2 are going to duel, and that very well might happen, then you've got some prices here in the 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, I mean those are the two speeds from the rail, and we've seen that that scenario develop before, right? But then they go on 6.5. Run my card. The 2 is dropping back a little bit. 6.5. I think that I would. I hate to give it. I hate playing a 2-to-1 shot, but I think I'm going to go back. I think the 2 is a solid play going wire to wire here.
All right. I'm not as convinced anymore. Tell me which one of the 1 or 2 is going to break on top, and that's who I like.
The 2.
All right.
100%. If the jock decides to agree with me. Oh, you turn my sound off. All right, they're off now, but
they both broke slow.
Yes,
the 2's in last right now.
No speed duel.
The 1 is rushing up right now, but remember we talked about this first time start of the 8. Good luck catching this 8 horse right now that's on the lead easily without even being asked. And the strides of this horse look pretty darn good. That's a nice stride for this level. 1's up there, but good luck catching this 8 horse. 6 is all out as a first-time starter. 7 horses in dead last.
It's not very fast.
20. Right now, the 1's outside of the 8 horse, but
23 and 4, not very fast.
2 horses toast. Here comes the 7 from dead last. That's making a move. It's not the prototypical move that's going to work here at this track as far as the win goes. But the 1 horse Buzzsaw is actually pulling ahead of the 8 horse right now. And the 10 horse at 7-2 is actually showing some interest in this race and might very well get this win. 1's in the lead down the stretch. There goes the 10 with the tongue in the air. And looks like Jordan on the outside, not changing lead, dueling, but there goes the 10 to pass the 1 horse in the final 16 to win this race. Going away, 10-1, 8-9.
Yeah. When the 2 doesn't get the lead, that was basically his day was over. And, they were relatively modest fractions, 23 and 4, 48 and 1.
I looked at it real quickly. I looked at the 10 horse, and Catherine had the 10, 2, 3, 10, but she didn't like my 1. And 8 tried. But what's interesting is you got low win percentage connections. Congratulations to them. So super happy with them. 6% jockey, 4% trainer. Yeah. But this horse was 1% in his debut, and then 2% on EquinEdge today, and 20-1 EE morning line. and this horse was 7-2. Like, we didn't spend enough time handicapping this race, but come on, that's a big tell. What the hell is that horse doing at 7-2?
Right, and in its defense, on November 22nd, had a nice workout, 3 furlongs, 36 flat breezing at Gulfstream, and they debuted at Gulfstream. So at a maiden 17.5, I don't think they come lower than that. And he had an excuse first time out, hit the gate, and he was bet down 8-1. So yeah, low profile connections, but gets the job done. Good for them.
Okay.
Yeah. They knew, Scotty.
Yeah, no,
they knew.
They for sure knew.
We didn't, but they did.
Yeah, no. That is no doubt they knew that horse was live. Okay, let's run this 8.5 furlong race.
All right, let me get to Gulfstream race 10. Go from Tampa to Gulfstream. A couple of 100 miles up the coast. Down the coast. Okay. 10th race. Simulators going. We have an optional claimer 62.5. Not only is it 2 lifetime fillies and mares, 3 year-olds and up. And it looks like we've got a speedball here in the 2 Glorious Princess, but don't have her holding on for the win.
Random Harvest broke her maiden down at Kentucky Downs, which, by the way, first of all, that's not an easy thing to do because you need to have fitness on that course. I will tell you that.
Tricky.
And so to pull away against 11 other horses, win by 3.5 lengths, you have talent. Then goes and up in SOR. It wasn't a particularly strong field at Keeneland, but nothing at Keeneland is really that weak. Is 28% to win, breaks from the 12 hole. I can tell you 9.5 furlongs at Keeneland in that wide post is brutal, and this horse pulled away to win. 2-1, and it's 5-1 on the EE morning line. The one thing I do know, we haven't looked at the other horses, is this horse is a runner. That I do know.
The Jimmy Toner, good turf trainer, old schooler.
Yeah.
He might have a talented horse here and a potential stakes horse. So the way I looked at this race, and you're going to say you may your head may spin when I tell you what I decided to do here, but it wouldn't be out of character for me.
Oh, you're gonna bet 2,000 to win on it?
Yeah, no, that's Matt Miller. That's Matt Miller.
Okay.
Because I think this horse, you will not get 5-1 on this horse, in my humble opinion.
No way.
And again, this horse won first time out. And if you follow Jimmy Toner, he's normally in New York, but he does ship a lot of horses down to South Florida because he's mostly a turf trainer. And obviously you can't run on turf in New York in the winter. Yeah. And this Uncle Mo horse, he very rarely wins with first-time starters, but he likes to stretch them out right off the bat, get some conditioning. That's his typical move. But for this horse to win first time out at Kentucky Downs at almost 9-1, and then come right back, like Scotty pointed out, from the 12 holes, this horse could have, this filly could be possible stakes in her future. But so this is what I did. You're going to shake your head even after explaining it. I singled the 3 horse in my pick 5, but I'm not using the pick 5, the 3 in the contest. Okay. I'm looking for a price, a sneaky horse who I had back a couple of races ago at a nice price, who I thought had an issue and I wasn't sure. I'm going to try to pick up the race. And just on the visual alone, I was impressed with this horse. And it's the 6, Life, Love, Laughter, from Michael Trombetta. Ships down from Laurel. Has never raced on this turf course. Has a nice tune-up workout on December 14th, 36-4 breezing. Has won at the 1/16 distance. Has enough speed to stalk the pace, and I think we'll get the first jump on the 3. And that's my exacta play. And I'm going to use, because it's a much bigger price for the contest, I'm using the 6 in the contest. I singled the 3 in my pick 5, but a 3-6 exacta is in the cards for me. So 6 in the contest, 3 in the horizontal. So I'm going to put the 6 on top.
All right. Okay. Couple of notes. The first thing I noticed is, besides amazing what this horse has done in its first 2 races, secondly, because everything was against this horse in those first 2 races. Look at the GSR. The longer, the better. Absolutely. I mean, this is such a beautifully bred horse.
Yeah.
And the mother wasn't much. It was all turf, Irish bred, probably has some amazing breeding. And this one is just unbelievable. Johnny's probably very happy to get this mount for Jimmy Toner. But I'll tell you another thing that I noticed. The Uncle Mo's, if you know anything about Uncle Mo's, and believe me, I've had some Uncle Mo's, they don't develop usually until later. Now, of course, they can take on some of their mom. I get it. But by the most part, Uncle Mo's take a while. So the fact that this horse is so developed, it just all the things we're talking about make me realize how good this horse is. Like, in my mind, I wouldn't be surprised this horse goes off at 3 to 5. And I've looked at some of the other horses. I mean, look at this horse here. We're talking about the 3 horse being a possible stakes horse. And this is its competition right here. This horse is losing ground against a 62 SOR group in an allowance race. It's got multiple layoff lines. How is this horse supposed to compete with a horse like Random Harvest? I don't see it. I'm going with the 3.
Right. And the one thing I'll point out about the 9 Root Cause, Chad Brown's horse, this horse has definitely been disappointing, right? This horse went off, 2 to 5 at Gulfstream and had a nice win. After that, lost as the chalk, and the next 2 races actually lost to Life, Love, Laughter back in the day, June 22nd of 23 at Belmont. Came back and lost by a neck at a big price. Was favored off a layoff July 19th at Saratoga and barely got up to win, held on to win. And then the next 2 starts, kind of disappointing again. So I'm not sure. But again,
I know what it is. I have no doubt what it is. I'm sure they always thought this horse was going to have talent. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4 layoff lines for this horse. I mean, this horse has some physical ailments, and that's what it is. And I think even at this horse's best, I don't think it's beating Random Harvest. So I'm not even going to try to mess around, take whatever I can get. I've got a lot of chalk today. I don't like that per se. There's most likely going to be a couple of long shots they're going to win, and that will throw me out, most likely. I'll need a lot of luck. But they're at the gate here for race number 5. We might as well watch this race. And
all right, you can watch me crash and burn in the pick 5, everybody. I went rather narrow here. I just used the 9 and the 10.
9.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is my pick 6. The pick 6 I'm not really worried about. So I went with I don't usually play the Rainbow 6 because I'm doing a show and I'm handicapping most of the Gulfstream races. I'm like, what the hell? So I went the 9 and 10 here.
All right, I think the 8's burned too much money for my liking. It wouldn't be a horse I like. The 7's going to be too far back and make a run. So I'm not really liking those horses. If I throw those out, it's at least for the win. Then I take a horse that has an inside post, like the 3 horse, I think could be in the money, Elusive Knight. I'll take a chance on a price.
Okay. Good luck, everybody who's got some wagering dollars invested here. I did originally wanted to put the 2 in, but the 2 was scratched. So, all right, they're off.
Who looks to clear some inside traffic. The other favorites also away in good shape. Burn and Turf on the far outside and Rotterdam from between. 4th at the rail is B here, followed 5th by Swashbuckle. He's off the speed today. Citizen K is next. It's a well-settled Breakwater 3rd last, about 5 lengths behind, working 3 clear of Elusive Knight. The early trailer, Mutawid. And the run around the first turn. The leader is Sambaru and Edgar Zayas, 3 parts of a length. On the outside, Burn and Turf is second from the gray B here, who's now 3rd. Rotterdam's in the 2-path, follows along in 4th. Out 3 wide, while 5th is Citizen K. Swashbuckle is at the rail, a length and a half in front of Breakwater. He has 5 on Elusive Knight, who's second last. and Mutawid is the trailer, about 12 lengths off the lead. Behind an opening
You have to
quarter and
sort
an
it, Bill.
energetic
You have to sort the horse at the
23
bottom.
and
I've let
the
the team
half
know
of
that they need to
46
fix
and 1.
that.
They make their way
Just
to
sort the
far
horse,
turn.
and then you'll be able to
Up
see
front, Sambaru taking
what the horse to
plenty of
watch
pace
is,
pressure from Burn Turf in second.
what the numbers
Rotterdam is
are.
third. B here begins to drop back a touch into fourth. Citizen K now fifth. Then it's Breakwater who races outside of
23 and
Swashbuckle.
1,
Mutawid's
46
out of
and
last,
1.
and now the trailer is Elusive
And
Night.
I mean, they're
That's the 9 of them as they run to the top of the stretch. The 3 favorites.
4 is
1,
coming.
2,
6 has
3.
got horse in
Burn
the
Turf
rail.
makes a bid after the
See if
lead.
he can get
Sambaru heads
through.
inside position.
They went a really fast
Rotterdam
3
is 3
quarters.
wide. Off the turn in the stretch drive, Rotterdam charging hard. Breakwater from the back. He settled well early and tries to level off. There's an eighth of a mile to go.
I mean, no one really
Turf
wants
for
to
a
win
narrow
this race,
advantage.
but it looks
Rotterdam
like
runs on him.
the 9 or
Breakwater on the
4
outside, then Swashbuckle. Rotterdam to the throat
might
latch
catch
of Burn
this
Turf.
10.
Rotterdam gains the upper hand. It's Rotterdam to win it.
9,
Rotterdam
10,
beats
4.
a very game Burn Turf, who was second. Breakwater is third. Swashbuckle is fourth.
9, 10, 4. Let's take a look and see how that all stacks up. So, I mean, look at the win percentage. Just a wide open race. And if you look at the finish, the 9's right here. Hey, look at that. 9, 10, 3. 3 didn't run.
Yeah, very logical results here. And again, I wasn't giving anything away saying I used the 9 and the 10 in my pick 6. 2 to 1 and 2 to 1. So, but, you just move on with chalk and see how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we? We have okay. So now we just have 2 more races, and we're cruising here. We got Laurel race number 8 and Laurel race number 9 on this wet track.
All right. So that's Laurel so it's a sloppy track. Okay. So
Muddy.
Laurel's a little different. So I had my notes. So we just have the 2 Laurels left, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will going to start from scratch because I didn't anticipate a sloppy track. So let me see how that fits into we have enough time, right?
So yeah, if you want to know if the metrics are judging it based on a wet track, they are. So if you want to know the GSR, you can see it says 8 furlongs wet dirt. So these GSRs here represent a wet track, and you'll see this right here. I'll show you. If you click on the horse, go to the GSR Plus grid, you can see it's lit up, right? So decent. Like it's a 67 going 8 furlongs on a wet track on the 5. And then if it's not a wet track, it's a 66. So the horse is pretty consistent on a wet track. If we look at the 7 horse, just as an example, we'll do the same thing. It's 63 on a wet track. And then on a regular track, 8 furlongs, it's a 61. So likely improving. So that's the way you can kind of look at it. So if you sort here, a 58. So you can kind of see if a horse really wants a wet track, and a 55. So sometimes you'll see some major differences. That's why I'm doing this, right? And you look here, 57, and then you look on a regular track, it's a 65. So in this situation, the 4 horse is much better on a not wet, a track that's not wet, and it's never raced on a wet track. So because of that, you might want to play against the 4 horse, who's also 2% as well. And then we look at this horse here, the 3 Lightning Boss. You can see when I look at this horse, I mean, it's a sprinter. And it's a 56, 8 furlongs on a wet track. It's interesting. So a lot of the family has done well sprinting on a wet track, but on a regular dirt, this horse looks like it wants to go long. That's going to actually change with the new GSRs. It's going to be as good as the GSRs are. Like you look at a situation like this and it's wet and it's more geared towards sprint. And then over here on the regular dirt, it's more geared towards going distance. So on the new GSRs, you're not going to see that. It's going to be more consistent to make it easier to judge the horse.
Yeah, no, what I usually do here, especially it's a shorter field, I'll pull up the sire and the dam of these horses, see if they ever won on sloppy tracks. So the first one I used was the 4 Set for Life. Stanford, I remember. Stanford, I just pulled up his record. I mean, this horse was Saratoga Special, grade 2. Didn't really go into the Triple Crown type of area. He ran a second in the Easy Goer, which is on Belmont Stakes Day. Ran in the Curlin at Saratoga, the Met Mile, finished 8th. Harlan's Holiday won. only start on a sloppy track was Charlestown Classic, a grade 2, going how many turns? Like 3 turns, and finished 5th. So that doesn't tell me anything. But yeah, I guess I had looked at this race originally and was going to use the 5.
Okay.
But now, because this track is Painter, what's this horse's GSR? EquinEdge just got to close out.
It's a 67 GSR.
All right. So if you look at the GSRs in this race, they're all pretty close, right? We've got a 67. These got the highest GSR. The 7's got a 63. I don't know. I was, again, the sloppy track, sometimes you get some curious results. So I'm going to take a shot here. And I'm not too confident about it, but I'm looking for a little bit of a price again. I would probably use the 5, definitely use the 5 in my mix. But I'm going to take a shot with the horse, the 4 horse here, stretching out in distance off a nice win breaking its maiden. Just figuring that maybe this horse's closing style, because a lot of times at Laurel, I've seen horses just come flying off the pace. When there's a lot of moisture in the track, I don't have any problem playing closers. When it's more of a muddy or a cuppy surface, I prefer speed. So I'll take the shot here that the 4, the worst scenario is the 4 comes flying at the end and gets me a second at a nice price. So I'm going to go with if I had 2 tickets, I'd use the 4 on one and the 5 on the other. So 4 or 5 for me.
All right. So the one thing I do like about the 2 horses, it has some back class. It didn't really run great against some of those bigger fields, but the minute they dropped this horse, I'll give you an example. If you look at this race 2 back on the turf, this horse wanted no part of turf. And it had a 39 GSR, 3% to win, but showed speed to the half. Okay, throw that out, forgive that race. Before that, you got a trainer at 12% who thinks this horse is going to win the next Kentucky Derby because it broke its maiden by 6 3/4 lengths. That's really what happened. And then the horse has been running over its head ever since. But the second he dropped this horse in class, the horse won easily. I think this horse might be able to handle this level. And the other thing I like is the SOR is a 66, and the horse actually won 1 race. So it's got a little bit of class. The other ones seem to be running in quicksand and not really doing all that great. So for me, I'm going to take the 2 horse. Hopefully, I'm going to get 5 or 6 to 1.
Not my first rodeo. Yeah, definitely a contender here. Yeah. Yeah. And again, my horse that I put on top in the contest, I'm a little skeptical myself. 2% win. But I'm just thinking with the sloppy track, but shot. What the heck? It's only a contest of money. It's at this point, it becomes mythical. So yeah. Even though if I'm going to go with other horses in here, I use definitely the 5 and the 2. But
all right,
thinking a little bit of play here. I was a big fan in my regret now of Stanford. I bet Stanford. I believe that was Pletcher's horse. And I always said, "Oh, Stanford is going to win a Met Mile. He's going to win this race. He's really got a lot of potential." And it didn't work out too well. So I think maybe it's me who can't look in the mirror if a Stanford horse wins and pays $15, $18 and knocks me out of tour points. So there we go.
All right. So
we got one more
over at Laurel. Baby Stocks. I think that was race number 5. Let's see if that horse is. Let's see. Oh, that's the 3 horse at 13%. Let's see here. All right, one more race, Dave. We made we made up some ground today, didn't we?
Yes, we did. You know what? Because we weren't wandering off the path. I wasn't talking about pizza much. We weren't talking about.
I don't know. We talked for about a half hour before we even started
before the show. Yeah, so I think it's better to get all that stuff in before the show. Then we can just roll and not get distracted. And we have a few minutes to watch a couple of more races because I would like before to watch the next race at Gulfstream because my single in all of my exotics is running. So.
Who's your single?
That's Positive Review.
Oh, the 3?
I think it's the 5.
Oh, the 4.
The 4, and that's Safi Joseph, correct?
Yeah.
I think that horse is, well, in my eyes, it's a lock, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so let's get to Laurel.
All right, so you're on the 4-horse positive review.
Oh, you want to look at this race first?
Yeah, I do want to look at it real quick.
Yeah, we got time.
What it is, why you singled that horse, and what your thoughts were. I don't think I gave a play in this race, did I?
Well, here's the dilemma, right?
Okay.
I started handicapping before, and I usually don't. This is the way I normally work. The way I normally roll. I'll handicap the race. I don't want to look at the jocks on the race and who jockeys, because I don't want to be biased saying, oh, it's Irad, he's going to be overbet. So I go through the races, and then I get a good solid opinion as to how my approach is going to be. Then I'll look at the jocks. And when I looked at it, I'm like, shit, it's Irad, and it's going to be totally overbet. And I'm not taking 6-5, I'll tell you that much. But so I decided in my horizontals I would single. This horse, if you look back at the last layoff from April 20th to June 22nd, I was on the horse that day. Off the layoff, this horse, came back from Tampa, cut back in distance at the mile distance over the track, and won pretty easily at almost 5-1. Then in the same level, had a decent race, and I'm thinking some with the layoff, and then came back to a muddy track and a stakes race, and may have been overmatched there. But the thing that I think this horse prefers going the mile, and that's the horse's best distance, because he has won back on July 29th and had it at the distance, and also October 14th over layoff, probably needed the race. Finished a good second. So the last 3 races I see at a mile, we got a first, and a second. They're good enough for me. Off the layoff, Safi Joseph usually has his horses ready to roll, and it's working on the turf. And I always like that. Work on the turf, run on the dirt. And there we go. To me, it's going to be overbet, but there are some hard hitters in this race. So the 1's going to take money. The 2 should take money. The 3. So maybe you can get 2-1 or 5-2. We'll see. But that's my solid single of the day.
Well, I like the EquinEdge picks personally. I'm rooting for you, and I'm not betting the race anyways. But what I like about the 3-horse is the race 3 back won easily, and then had an outside post on the 7 furlongs against a 66 group that was tougher, and the horse was there in the stretch before stopping. Again, it's not good being wide like that. Now draws inside, can rate just fine. Zaya, Safi Joseph. So I personally like the other
Safi
horse. Mm-hmm. And then the 2-horse is interesting as well. It's going to have to prove it has some back class, but it was facing. But look, in its first race off the layoff for Barbosa, it handled 3 and up, and that was at 7 furlongs, and now stretches out to this 1-turn mile, which is no big deal, and maintains a win percentage. So I actually really like the EquinEdge picks. So for me,
I'm glad you mentioned the EquinEdge picks, because no love for my single, and that also led me down the path to being like, well, maybe this isn't the strongest.
Well, you know how that goes. I believe me. I wish I loved the 4-horse, but our job is to just handicap it the way we see it as individuals.
Yeah.
But I'm not playing the race, and I'm absolutely rooting for you. But for the community that wants a separate opinion, there you go. Now you've got it.
Okay. Well, the thing about the 3, I understand the 3 being on top based on its form, but I mean, this horse is a 3-year-old facing older. Had won the optional claimer at 25. Maybe this horse to me was a little cheaper than the 4 and maybe the 1. So we'll see. It's a very solid race, though. Very competitive race. Some hard-hitting older horses, and races that I really like to watch. So
well, you could be right, but the way I'm looking at it, the 4-horse only won, and again, I'm not trying to at all put the 4 down in any way, but the 4 won at the 64 level, and so that's the way I look at it. And then it wasn't competitive at all in the last race. It went on the shelf, and oftentimes too, David, as you know, horses that go above their head and run and they really try, they can hurt themselves. And now you have a layoff, and now you have a horse that's in for a claiming tag in the 4-horse. So as you know, the 3-horse isn't in for a claiming tag. But then the 3-horse only won 2 back in an optional claiming 25-62 group. Now, did it easily. So I think it's a tough race on paper.
Yeah, granted, it's a tough race. I will acknowledge. And that's where I'd like to have my singles, because there are other people who are spreading around, so I can spread around a little later if my opinion is right here. But yeah, I am concerned that horse is in the positive reviews in for the tag. I think that last race, the excuse is it's a muddy track. The first time the horse has ever been on a muddy track, and it was a tough spot. The horse was it was almost 7-1 in a 6-horse field, so you can tell that it was a tough race for that horse. So now back into a claimer, and I guess they're willing to lose the horse for 62.5. The horse has won 3 out of 17 races, made some money. So, but I think it's in a perfect spot here. Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the last race over at Laurel Park, which is race number 9. That's the last one we need to cover, at least for the qualifier.
Okay, race number 9 at Laurel Park. Okay, now, like we said, that because we have a sloppy track, it's going to change my mindset a bit here. So I want to take another look at it. Originally, and I don't think there's anything that's going to change much in here, because it looked rather chalky, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let me pull up. And really, it looked like the race to me came down to between the 6 and the 7. And I'm looking, okay, does any, now knowing the track is sloppy, do either of these horses have an advantage on a sloppy track? If you look at the GSRs, the highest GSR in the race is the 7, a lot of moxie. And the 6, who I thought was the other logical contender, is 52. So then I'll look around and say, okay, maybe you were missing something, who may be a sleeper here on a sloppy track. And I don't really see anything. It looks like a 2-horse race to me. I mean, the 8, I remember Dividing Rod winning a major race on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. So let me just pull up, if we have time. We had how many minutes before the?
We got plenty of time.
Okay, so Dividing Rod. I'm thinking this horse. No, every race fast, muddy. Oh, there we go. Oh, do I have a good memory? So on August 12th, 2017, at Laurel Park on a muddy track, 7 furlongs in the $75,000 Polynesian. And keep in mind, the race before, Dividing Rod finished 2nd in the Grade 1 Cigar Mile on a fast track. So on this muddy track at 7 furlongs, the horse won by 6 lengths.
Who are we talking about right now? I'm completely lost.
Yeah, I know. I'm confusing the whole Dividing Rod, the sire of the number 8 Lystra.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
We're with you now.
Yeah, so did run in the Cigar Mile, a Grade 1 in November, and finished a solid 2nd.
Yep,
A long layoff.
Yep.
August 12th, 17 at Laurel, muddy track, 7 furlongs, 75,000 Polynesian, and won by 6 lengths. But at what was that? 2-5, 3-5. So maybe it was just such a weak field, but has won on a muddy track.
Or the horse was just that good. Or the horse was just
it's
that
probably
good.
over. Yeah, off a long layoff. If you just finish 2nd in a Grade 1 and you're off a long layoff, you're going to be favored. So the muddy track didn't hurt the horse, but this horse, the 8, looks like this horse has never lifted a hoof. My original pick was going to be a lot of moxie, who's 0 for 9. The 6, who's the other contender. I could have been a contender. There's my New York accent coming out. I'm glad you pointed that out. So just because you pointed that out, Scotty,
yeah,
I'm gonna let you pronounce the name of the 6.
Okay. La Chica for Tequila.
Okay, I think I like it. I think you did pretty good. Better you than me. So with that being said,
La Chica for Tequila. So that's a girl that likes tequila.
La Chica for Tequila.
There we go.
La Chica.
La Chica for Tequila.
Okay. All right. So So those I thought were the two contenders. But you know what? What the heck? It's a contest. We're having a little fun here. Let's blow up the board in that last in the Laurel ninth race. I'm changing my pick because of the sloppy track. I was a fan of the Divining Rod. Maybe move up a slight bit here. It drops huge in class from a maiden 37.5 to a 10. Never lifted a hoof. Maybe can't run. I'm thinking the horse looks at is just feeling the sloppy track. Let's give it a shot. So I'm going with the 8. 8 on top of the 7.
8 on top of the 7. All right. That sounds fair enough. 8-7 for David.
Okay. So who are you going with, the 6 or the 7, Scotty?
I was so engulfed in your story, I just didn't even look at anything else.
Okay. sorry for rambling on and on here. I got all fired up with Divining Rod because I did remember it popped in my head. I'm like, I think that horse ran on an off track. But
I know one thing. Whether this horse wins or not, the 7 horse has burned. Okay, that's not fair to say it burned money. Okay, fine, but it was 34% here and lost. Now it's stretching out. It hasn't proven. I'm sure it can go long. I'm sure it has the breeding. Let me look, but yeah, it has the breeding, but it has never gone long. In these situations, this one hasn't. I'm really always looking for a horse that actually has experience going longer and actually ran decent. And so far, I have not found that horse.
Right. well, hold on a second. You mean you haven't found that horse in a maiden 12.5 claimer at Laurel going 2 turns? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I mean, some of these horses have got 6-7 races. I mean, 9 races here. Like, you've never gone long. What's up with that?
Look at it this way, Scotty. The 7 is 8-5 second choice morning line favorite. In the last 2 races, the last 3 races, 24-1, 16-1, 10-1. Now he's all of a sudden 8-5 morning. It tells you about the quality of the race.
Oh, wow. 1,000%. And it also like if you make that horse your top pick, forget about it. Like, there's just no way. Like I'm disappointed that the system even chose that horse.
So you got to pick somebody. The system's not going to say this race is just a disaster. We're not making a pick here.
That's it. I'm revamping you. The Whimpers. That's it.
And there's a handicapper who I believe years ago, TVJ. I'm not going to release the name, but one thing that struck me when the 40-1 shot won some kind of crazy cheap race, he said, "Here's the thing to remember: bad horses win bad races." So, I mean, there's no world beaters in here. And, I'm not getting 15-1 on Maestro. I can guarantee you that. Yeah. In this weak field, it'd probably be 7 or 8-1. So I'll take that and try to move on.
Okay. Yeah. One thing I will tell you, I learned a long time ago, and I'm not saying we're going to be able to find it. And I'm looking right now, and we're going to start with horse number 1. But when you look for horses that want to go longer, look for horses that are pretty much one paced. And when you look at the running lines, like from the broke to the first to the second to the stretch to the finish, they're pretty much just like in a straight line. I will say this: in looking at the 1 horse, it kind of meets that. It does meet that. So that's the 1 is interesting. It's 3-1 EE morning line. It's on the inside. It saves some ground. Does it have any speed? It does. So it is tactical. Well, let's look at the 3 horse. The 3 horse is, showing some speed and then losing ground, showing, and then, I like the 3, not my type of horse as far as stretching out. So I'll pass on that. The same thing here with this one. I just want to see a 1-paced horse. So the 5 horse, show him some speed, then losing, so that wouldn't be the 5.
I got a horse for you, Scotty.
You do?
Yes.
I don't. Not the 6.
No, go back to the 1, Nearly a Lady, which would probably be your 3rd choice, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Wow, that tells you something. Look at that horses. Now we're talking about Sprinter stretching out to get a distance here, which let's cut to the chase. None of these horses probably even want any part of going 2 turns. They barely want to go 6 furlongs. Yeah, it'll be tough. But
this one,
lady, algorithm. did you know that Algorithms won the Holy Bull at Gulfstream on a sloppy track back in 2012? So there you go. There's your angle. The sire had won on a sloppy track going 2 terms. Doesn't mean that the apple is going to fall close to the tree in this case, but there's again, and I might switch my pick now from the 8 to the 1 because
no, don't do that. But I will say this. Look, I only like the 1 and 8 in here, and I'm going to show you why. So
Okay.
let's look at your 8. We already know it can go long, but remember when I was talking about the running lines and seeing horses that are just one pace that don't like kind of move up and down? Look at your horse.
Yeah.
Every call in the first race, it was 6th. Every call in the second race, it was 8th. That's crazy.
Yeah. Basically, when you can't lift a hoof and you're going around the track and dead last all the time, I mean,
No, but you're one pace. Now the horse is dropping from a 44 SOR to a 34 SOR. The 8 is super interesting, and the 1 horse saves ground on the inside. Doesn't have to have the lead, and the 1 horse is a very one-paced horse as well. Since you're going with the 8, I'm going to go with the 1,
right.
But the 8's going to be my alternate.
Okay, so I'm shocked. I thought you'd be like thinking I need a checkup from the neck up after picking a horse like that.
Nope. All right.
And Catherine, you are right, Catherine. Never change your mind or cancel tickets, because how many years have we gotten burned?
Well, you never do anyway, so nobody has to worry about that. I can tell you. I remember I told you on a horse you had it like 31 to 1. It had never run on the turf. It had one of the lowest GSRs in the race. And you're like, Scotty, this is the only horse that's ever proven it can go this distance. I'm like, David, this horse has 0 shot. Like, I almost never do that to you. I don't, because I never want to talk you. Not that I can talk you off. And that horse won by like 2.5, 3 lengths. I was like,
I remember the day.
All right. I just got schooled.
You got schooled, and I probably shouldn't say this, but because you got schooled by the NHC champ, so it's not the worst. And I'm not tooting my own horn; it's just a joke. I'm pretty humble when it comes. I still can't believe I won, but sometimes you get lucky.
Look, you're the Silver Sunday champion as well, defending. By the way, I mean, come on, that becomes when this stuff keeps on happening, it becomes not luck anymore. And the reason is you have conviction on some of these long shots, but you also have your set things that you look at, like the horse I just mentioned, first time for turf. You have a knack for these first time turf horses. I feel like I've learned from you, by the way, but they don't come up very often. But so you need some luck. But if you're in the NHC and you find one, you're firing on that thing. And
absolutely.
Some of those younger horses too, or even horses that are 3 years old, 4 years old, if you're in a race where they're going on turf for the first time, and none of them have proven they can go 9 furlongs as an example, and a horse that's been on the dirt but has a little bit lower GSRs has proven it can go 9 furlongs, well, you might have a price right there.
Right. And the thing is, too, it's all about risk reward, right? I can mention a first-time turf or first-time surface, a horse that's bred to better for turf. But if the horse is 2 to 1, I don't want any part of it. The horse is 10 or 12 to 1, I'm all over it, right? It's got to be value. Because what's happening, you're looking at a horse, races with turf form where a lot of horses have finished second, third, fourth. They're really running the same race. They look like they're talented. They just don't get the job done. You have 3 or 4 of them in the race who are favorites. And then you have this 12 to 1 shot, first time turf, first time 2 turns, and bad dirt races, well bred for turf. 12 to 1, I'm all over it. 2 to 1, I'm not.
All right. So we've got the 4 horse is jacked up. Is what we're hearing. Hold on here.
It's jacked up.
Yeah, jacked up. And in this situation, I don't think that is a good thing, but let's see.
What's the term? Am I trying to be discreet here? Hold on a second. This is a colt, correct? Is that where we're, hold on a second.
Let's see here.
Is he frisky? Is that what you're trying to say?
The 4 horse is, he's a horse. He's a horse. He's a horse. He's a horse for a course. He still has all his parts.
Okay. It's not frisky. It's what's it called? Jeez.
By the way, look, you see the 3 horse holiday pay?
Looks nice.
I like that. I like when they leave the pony and they let the horse warm up some. I really like that. I don't know why more trainers don't do that. Walking with the pony horse the entire time, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Like, let the horse stretch its legs a little bit.
Yeah, maybe they're looking for the lead, Scotty.
No, not necessarily. It could be a horse that maybe takes a while to warm up. What I worry about sometimes when you don't see a horse doing this is that maybe, like, give an example. Let's just say a horse has some physical issues. Well, the trainer's telling the jockey, you stay with the pony and don't go anywhere because we want to fire our best shot here and we don't want to use this horse up in a workout or in the pre-race. And that happens all the time. So for me, you don't need to see this, but for me, it's nice to see a horse that's on its own kind of. You see, there you go with the 6 horse, right? Like, just
that's why Catherine now. Catherine's, I guess she's pretty experienced at horse flesh, and maybe it's an equestrian physiology major. So, and based on her success, I'm not going to. Again, I can look at horses, but I don't have the same ability to say, "Hey, this horse just looks fantastic."
Yeah,
the 4 looks good to me, and 5-2 is the price I'm looking for. So if I can get 5-2 on IRAD here, I'll be all over it because you knew some other horses were going to take money here. These are some hard hitting older horses. The 2 is 5-2. The 1 who won the Sunshine Classic last year, to my chagrin, who cost me because I had Octane, who I lost by a head to. I was at the rail that day, and I had right to the bar after that. I was just a little annoyed. And at that day, I believe it was the other. Did Walensky have 2 horses there? Either way, it's like I was. You know how those tough beats get you. So Lorramin, though, second race off a layoff. I'm not convinced on that horse drawing the rail, but definitely has a big shot. I think at 5-1 is a solid, good price.
I like the way the 4 looks. I'm watching Irad as they were just showing the 4 horse, and Irad is on this horse very confidently. I'll just say that for whatever that's worth. You can see him now. You see him? I mean, you can see that Irad's very engaged. He's on fire, and he's. I think he looks very. I thought he looked best in the warm-ups.
Okay, unless that's a signal that he's so calm that he knows he's going to signal the vet and say something's off with this horse.
No, I was watching Irad's body language for what that's worth, and
right. So now you have a small field here, right? You have 6 horse field, and some horse players complain about smaller fields. They want no part of them. They want 10, 12 horse fields. But here we go. We've got a 6 horse field with a very competitive race. We got 4 horses between 2-1 and 9-2, and then you've got another horse at 9-1. And your outside horse is 13-1, who Catherine likes. So to me, I can make as long as I can make money in a race. I don't care if it's a 5 or 6 horse field. And normally I resort to an exacta here, but I have no confidence in my second place horse, so I'm going with a win and a single. Okay. And at 5, if I can get 5-2, $7 horse to me in a 6 horse field is valued.
Yeah.
So I was surprised it's the 9.
Sometimes, David, you just get these. You get like a jockey just gets on a roll and is super confident. Now he's like, look. Both the horse, look at there. I mean, they're showing the 4 a lot.
Yeah, does 4 look a little too dull though?
No. I mean, he's like, nah. He's perfect, calm, relaxed, looks good. I mean, 3 looks fine, but 4 to me just looks definitely what you want to see. Even like the jockey on the 3 doesn't look as confident. Like Irad, he's just like strutting right now. Look at him.
Well, if you were clicking almost at 40% at the meet, wouldn't you be pretty confident out there strutting your stuff?
Yeah, but you're feeling yourself when you're sitting on a horse like that confident. I don't know. That's what I see, anyways.
Mm-hmm. It's like anything else. I mean, as a horse players too, you get on a roll. Your confidence and you think you're seeing things right, and your confidence level just lets you reach out to make moves that you normally may not do because you're like, I'm on fire. you know, and it's like sometimes, you know, I felt that way at the NHC for 2 different years, and it's like gets kind of weird, you know. It's like, so you know how streaky this game can be, because to me it's much easier to go do an offer at the NHC than it is to get on a roll, but you know, especially 3 days. So
if you look here on the GSR tab, you can see that Lure Him has 3 wins and 6 tries against a 68 group. But if you look over here, this is the last 5 races. So he's losing his class a little bit. And that's usually a sign. I don't know if people do this enough, but it's usually a sign that maybe the horse is, you know, regressing. And you look at the SOR for the 4 horse, 2 wins and 5 tries with a 2nd place finish and maintaining that class. So it's a good sign. I mean, it does really. The 2 horse looks fine as well. I think the 4 horse. I think the 4. I'm liking this 4.
Oh, originally you didn't like the 4 there, Scotty.
No, I'm liking it for sure.
I'm liking a lot better that the 4 a lot better that the 3 is now 9-5. All right, good luck, everybody.
Waiting for Flying Liam and
let me take my volume off.
Smooth Flying Mike to the outside. Ready now for the late pick 5.
Cut off, okay.
And they're off.
Let's around a little bit.
Inconvenience at the break was Holiday Pay shuffled to last of the lot and hanging to the far outside. Positive.
The 4's got to be closer to pace now.
Than Flying Liam, who's on to take over, and he crosses over.
4 didn't break that good.
Racing second is Positive Review up on the far outside. Holiday Pay. Secret Chat is in the middle. Also right there is Smooth.
Ironically, the 4 is the one that kind of ran into the 3 at the start.
Yeah. Flying Liam completes the opening quarter.
Or Rat will do anything to win.
Over Positive Review.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the 3 not being out in the lead, this 5 could be on the front end for a long time. I'm a little worried about this 5 wiring here.
Smooth Flying Mike out in the middle.
That's not fast.
Way to the half-mile
24 and change.
Leader is still Flying Liam by a length and a half. The opening quarter was 24 and
Years are pricked though on the 5, whereas I Rat on the 4 horse. Years are just like in front, like he hasn't even asked this 4 horse. 3 struggling, 2 is struggling.
On the far turn through a 47 and 3/2 mile. Long shot Flying Liam in a bid to make all. He leads by a length and a half. And
Donnie, this was.
He has some behind him stretched out pretty well. Positive Review and Secret Chat to close.
I'm worried that this 5's going to wire him.
Lure him in or next. They're out.
He's under the whip to 4.
5 is starting to shorten strides. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
In the middle, Positive Review asked to quicken now, and down the center, Secret Chat. Lure him in is 4th and looks to angle. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go, and Flying Liam buckles down under pressure. He still has the lead. Secret Chat on the outside, Positive Review in the middle.
Man.
Secret Chat surges forward, and Secret Chat gets up. Positive second from an all-heart Flying Liam. He ran 3rd. Lure him in is 4th.
Blew up the entire day. All right, I'll see you guys. I have to tell you, the race didn't develop like I pictured. You thought that 3 would be right out there on the lead, pressing the 5, and you know, obviously the 2 was a contender, but I think the race developed a little different. I don't think the 4 really wanted to be that close to the pace, but I think had no other choice, right?
Yeah,
would have benefited if the 3 went with the 5, and I think would have been a little further back. But again, the 2 coming off that optional claimer is in good form. Maybe couldn't have beaten the 2, but ran a decent second.
Yeah. It ran good. Unfortunately, didn't get that win there, and the 2 did. Secret Chat, who was the EquinEdge second pick, top win percentage on this horse as well. Castellano was aboard and got up second off the layoff. That's 2 back-to-back wins since then. So this one's been very useful for Barbosa, who's been on fire lately as well.
He has.
You know, well, absolutely. Listen, best of luck here in the in this qualifier, and thank you everybody for contributing in the chat, David.
All right, thanks, everybody.
And don't forget the stretch run tomorrow. Also, there is a coaching class tonight with Chris. So enjoy that. Enjoy your weekend. Have plenty of success. And I think that's a wrap, huh?
That's a wrap. May the horse be with you. And if we don't talk, have a great holiday week. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate. And are we doing the show next Friday, Scotty?
I'm game if you are.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be doing my handicapping the day after for opening day at Santa Anita, which is always a big day, the day after Christmas. So, and Aqueduct comes back. I can't. I'm going to be having my Aqueduct withdrawal symptoms by the 27th. So I'm all in. So we will see you on the 27th.
By the way, we had Santa Anita up with the EquinEdge morning line yesterday. Did you see that?
No, I did not. It's up already?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we don't need to wait. We've got the morning line and everything. So if you want to look at Santa Anita early, you're able to do that. I don't know, many people don't I don't know if you know, David, you can see the results of a race 20 minutes after the race is over on the same day.
You taught me that a couple of weeks ago. Yes, you're like, hop on the Gulfstream third race. It's up there already. I'm like, that is fantastic. Yes.
It sure is. So
and
go ahead.
Before I forget, Santa Anita, day after Christmas, opening day. Isn't there an NHC contest that day online?
Probably. I think I know Tyler's always doing a lot of tournaments over there at Santa Anita. Likes to do that. They like that. Nate Newby likes that. So, excuse me. So, I think I read somewhere where they are doing a lot of tournaments. So, glad to have Santa Anita back. If you've never been there before, for me, it's the best backdrop in horse racing in North America.
I was just so lucky as part of that's another thing why you should qualify for the NHC, because if you happen to win, one of the perks of this championship is I got an invitation to Santa Anita on their dime. Tom Quigley and Nate Newby reached out to me, and I tell you, it was the best decision I made to go out to the West Coast. What a beautiful background, the San Gabriel Mountains, and it was just fantastic. I was like in awe.
They do a nice job. They really do a nice job. Yeah. I mean, California is rough with the horse flesh as far as the quantity of horses. I get that. And it's just a rough climate. Just like, you see regular businesses in every industry that are struggling in California. It's the same thing. It's rough. I feel bad for them. I mean, they do everything they can to be creative, to be able to get horses there and all that. It's a lot easier for Del Mar, but Del Mar wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Santa Anita. So, that works hand in hand.
And the one thing with those guys, I mean, they bend over backwards and treat you like royalty out there. And the Eddie Logan suite, we couldn't have been happier. And I just reached out to Nate and Tom a number of times, just so thankful for that. And if you ever get a chance, I mean, I've always been an East Coast guy, but that is such a beautiful back. You feel like you're so relaxed just looking at those mountains.
They also have a front runner restaurant. That was my home. And you can go up to that front runner. It's a huge glass that's overlooking the track and the San Gabriel Mountains. You get a table right there by the glass. Call ahead of time if you're going to go. Wow. I mean, that's a treat.
Yeah. Now you're tempting me. Maybe I'll when I head down to South Florida, I'm going to take a flight this winter to Santa Anita for a weekend. We'll see how it goes. But thanks everybody for listening in, and happy holidays. And Scotty, great job again. I just have such a blast doing this. Thank you again. And may the horse be with you. And let's get a couple of qualifiers today. Let's get some tour points going.
Okay.
All right.
See you all later. Bye,
See everybody. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.